welcome everybody once again to the Tuesday show. My name is James Shin, joined by Mr. Ultra David, Mr. Tubaware, and I accidentally have the topic set to the wrong place. There we go. Okay. All right.
Shadowing. That's what they call that in the movie biz.
Did you see that movement on the side there? That was rad, dude. When you scrolled back up like that automatically. What's going on, everybody?
Oh, yeah, I can scroll however far it needs to go, dude, and it's accurate. See, there you go.
Super cool. Super cool. What's going on, Tubaware? How about you?
I'm tired. I want to play some Strive.
Sick.
That's kind of how I'm feeling right now.
Sounds about right, actually.
Yeah, that's real as it gets.
Yeah, I'm not too dissimilar myself. I heard that you played a single first to five with me this weekend. Is that true?
No, we played multiple first to fives. I will not lie to the people.
Okay, well, we played a first to five. That was a lot of fun. Let's do that again in the future. Here's what we're going to be talking about over on the side.
Wait. Who won?
We played five for. You know what? No, that's going on YouTube. You'll just have to watch.
It's on YouTube, baby.
You'll just have to watch on YouTube.
Oh, okay, that's right. We can't spoil it. You will see it on YouTube. Like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, please do. To be honest, we are trying to put a lot more work into our YouTube site.
We are.
We're going to be talking about in-person events actually filling up. CEO, of course, Summer Jam as well as other stuff that's going on that's big in the same kind of way. We're going to be talking about the Guilty Gear Strive NA versus Japan 10v10. We have a guest that we're excited about. KnowKami is going to be on here. We'll talk about his background, how he got his stream so big, how Strive is, the 10v10, and so forth. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to talk about the 5-5 matchup stuff. And as I said on Twitter, this is going to be done a little bit differently nowadays. We have been basically doing this, but now it's official. We're just going to do the voting live here. There's no more send an email and you guys get to pick because we can't send an email anymore. So next Twitch.
Womp womp.
We're going to talk about Kazuya. We're going to talk about Vanessa. We're going to talk about MKX Lives and so forth. But let's start by talking about the fact that in-person tournaments are in fact beginning to fill up.
Happening again, dude. Not just happening, but happening pretty like strongly, I guess is the way that I want to put it. You know,
I think that's a good word for it. Yeah. So we had previously talked about the fact that CEO is going to take place in early December. We had also previously talked about the fact that it sold out very, very quickly. That their spectator passes were sold out, that their events were capped, and they filled up really fast. Well, then we also previously talked about the fact that they were going to be reopening registration so that they would be increasing, the numbers per game, allowing more entrants in, basically. Well, that did happen, and it sold out literally in minutes. And in fact, Strive filled nearly 200 registration spots in 2 seconds. In actual seconds.
Guess who got one of those spots, baby?
Oh, yeah? All right, all right.
Now
you're taking up a spot that somebody else might have been able to use, but we'll talk about that later.
Look, here's the thing that's really exciting to me about that. Obviously it's cool from the event standpoint, but usually a lot of the times when games come out, that kind of tapers the eagerness to sign up for events, because people are like, I'm excited for Street Fighter V. I'm excited for Dragon Ball. It comes out, I'm not as excited anymore. But, when Strive came out and then they had 200 more spots in 2 seconds and it went away, I think that's a good sign. I think that's a good sign.
I know quite a few people who were in my boat of the betas being like, maybe. And then the game comes out and we're like really into it. I know a lot of people in that position, so I think it actually might have been the opposite this time.
Okay.
There's actually other news though. Summer Jam registration is open as of yesterday, and it's already nearly full as well. So that is also happening very quickly. Yeah, totally. So it's not just a CEO phenomenon. This is something that's bigger. Summer Jam is going to be August 28th to 30th. And already nearly sold out.
I'll have you know, Investigation Cone, I've never gone 0-2 in a game that I was actively practicing.
That's right.
Not once.
I forgot to start the timer. It's my bad.
The timer. Well, we'll fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
Also, there was a local at Xanadu. The event location in the Eastern Seaboard in Maryland. VGBC guys running that, and they got 103 players for Strive. and they capped out the Ultimate entries. So Smash was capped out at 128. And my understanding is that it's going to be close to capped or will be capped for this coming week as well. So events are in fact back in some places.
People are thirsty,
dude.
I mean, 100%. And you know, Sonic Fox went down and actually won the Strive local at Xanadu, and the Kill Stage was there. And again, there's 100 other players there. Ski Sonic was there to do commentary. It was actually so sick.
Okay.
It was so. I watched a bunch of it. I didn't know that it was happening until it already had, and then I was like, "Wow, this is." And I went back and watched a bunch of it because that is so cool. Dude, I actually attended an in-person session with humans inside, not outdoors,
in a building.
In a building. That's true. It's true.
But did you have air conditioning?
You're gonna have to ask Mikey D about that. I think there's air conditioning, but
I mean, if you didn't, isn't it like 100 degrees there right now?
No, we're not so bad, to be honest.
In the valley should be though, right? Isn't it that hot?
It was fine. It was in the 70s at the time. It was no big deal.
I mean, look, the funny thing is we talked about this, weeks back when events start opening up. Do we feel like everyone's going to be jumping, or is everybody still going to be paranoid, or, but it really just feels like, I mean, it's felt this way to me too. And I know for you, David, a little bit as well. But after getting vaccinated, like, it's just all of a sudden now you're just like, I'm going places. It's like, I thought once I got vaccinated, I would still be very patient. And I have been. I still haven't been doing much. Have I eaten indoors at a couple of restaurants? Yeah, definitely now here and there. But, it's hard to understate. I'm not sure which one, but it's hard to describe the feeling that you actually end up getting after getting vaccinated. I was just like, wait, I can do this now. I want to do this. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy. But yeah, no, that's the biggest problem. Obviously, Redo is the Delta variant is terrifying right now.
The Delta variant, for people who have not been vaccinated, is a big problem. If you have been vaccinated, it's very effective against the Delta variant as well.
I saw an article
as we have been saying, please get vaccinated because this is even more concerning.
I saw an article that some people who were vaccinated got the Delta variant. Actually,
you've been able to get COVID the whole time. It's
just okay.
It's much less likely, and if you get it, it's much less likely you're not going to be hospitalized. You're not going to die, right?
Yeah,
so anyway, whatever. Vaccine is good. We all agree with this.
I still haven't stopped wearing a mask. Let's put it that way.
No, dude, I went to the grocery store yesterday. I wore a mask.
Right, exactly.
I am not entirely abandoning that stuff. I think that continues to be important. However, if you are vaccinated, you don't have that much to personally fear, but you also don't want to transmit it. Right? There's still reasons to wear a mask.
Right.
Anyway, I mean, we mentioned this when we were talking about the vaccine, even early on. When my wife got it, I teared up, man. It's a big moment. It was absolutely a big moment for us. And now that we have stewed on that for a couple of months, we've been doing stuff. We've been traveling around, and I didn't get a spot in CEO, but Brock did. I know a ton of people who have. Like I said, I went to an in-person thing. This is happening at this point. I want to recognize that we have a particularly lucky situation in the U.S., and I know that this is not true for much of the world. We have a much more accessible vaccination program than most of the world. So for most people in the world, it is not true that like things are over. Like every time we have this conversation, I see somebody new, and it's the same thing every time. How was your last year? It was ass. How was yours? Yeah, we were staying inside the whole time. And then it's like, okay, how do you describe the period that we're in now? It's post-COVID kind of, but it's not at the same time. Right. It's absolutely not for most of the world. So I do want to recognize that. But in specifically the US and a few other countries, we're getting to this point now. CEO shows it, Summer Jam shows it, Xanadu shows it.
You know what?
Where we are moving on.
We are in pandemic hyper fighting right now. That's the phase that we're in right now, basically. We are in the pandemic, but it is a modified version of fighting it right now.
It's better and faster?
Yeah, that's almost like...
Maybe it's super, where it's slowing down. Oh boy. Anyway, please get it. This is big news. I mean, now that we have in fact seen that this is happening, CEO's full, Summer Jam close to it, yada yada. How do you guys feel about how the rest of events in North America are going to be going, in the US are going to be going?
They're going to blow up the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to get out and do things, like you said. It's not shocking. It's not surprising that that's what's happening. I'm still watching numbers, though. I said that I would feel safe when U.S. daily new cases was between 10 and 15K on average per day for a week. And we've been there for now, and it's still dropping. However, with the Delta variant, such and so forth, I'm still waiting. I registered for CEO planning to go, but if numbers skyrocket again, I'm not going to go. Like, that would just be foolish. So I'm still very much, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm expecting the best, but I also know that may not be what happens. So I'm just taking my time.
Yeah, to be honest, that is part of why I didn't register for CEO. I feel like that's really far out to be thinking about. I would feel more comfortable, and this has surprised me maybe, but I'd feel more comfortable going to Summer Jam because it's sooner. You know, I mean, a few months ago I would have had maybe the opposite viewpoint, but now I feel like I can plan for now. I know what I have a good guess about how things are going to be going next week, next month, right? In 6 months, yeah, probably things are going to be fine. But who knows? Yeah, exactly.
Knock on wood, dude. Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, I definitely wanted to go to CEO. Like I said, when it first came out, when they first announced it, I was like, yeah, I probably won't go. But then as the seconds even ticked by, I was kind of like, I kind of want to go. Even if I didn't play anything, like, I kind of wanted to go, but I'm most likely not going to end up going to CEO because obviously I didn't get a registration anyway. So,
well, here's the fun thing about that. On Twitter, Jabali let TK Breezy know he was a goof because if you're a commentator, you apply for commentary and then you get a badge to go in the venue.
Oh,
you
really?
doinks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so doinks. Come on, guys. Use your brains
okay,
here.
Hey, hang on. I thought that Jabali made it specific that you had to even register even if you were applying for... I've applied for commentary. So if that gives me a badge and I get the role, then I'll see if I can find my way out there still for sure, so...
When was the last time either of us paid for registration at an event, James? Honestly.
I thought it was different. I thought it was different this time. I honestly did. Because he was saying basically, yeah, if you want to apply for commentary, you have to make sure you're going to be there. You have to travel. You have to provide your own stuff. So I thought that also included you also have to register for the event yourself as well. So that was just my natural assumption. But if that's not the case, then I'm still in there, baby. I'm still in there.
All right. Well, I know you may be in there. Definitely Tubbleware's in there. However, some top players are not in there. Some top players did not register in time.
Sucks to suck.
Does it? Let me know what you think about the following statement. Hope they just start letting top players do early registration. I know it's top player privilege or whatever, but I'd rather see MKLeo and Light go to CEO, for example, rather than two dudes who are going to go 0-2 and ask top players for pictures only after they lose. That's from Mars, a top Smash player. Other players, not just in Smash, but also other FGC players basically replied like, yeah. Or definitely, more or less. Now, a lot of other people said the opposite. A lot, to be clear. Like, this is not like some consensus view. What do you guys think about this statement?
Panda Global, get your boy. Wrangle him in. What a terrible take. What an awful, stupid, dumb, whatever you want to call it take. Wasn't a hot take. It was just an ill-informed take. You know, without the 0-2ers, you don't get a paycheck, homie. You need those people. You absolutely need those people. So if you're a pro player, you should probably prioritize registering for things on time. Just a thought. Like, especially when you have a manager and a team and all these people to help remind you and support you in doing that. yikes, if you can't do that on time. I don't, like, man, I got myself up for school since I was like 7 years old, and I never missed a damn day. Like, if I could do that at 7, as an adult, you can register for your tournament on time.
It is their job, right? That's
Yeah.
Among the other issues here, is not the only issue. One of the issues here is that it's your job to register for tournaments and enter tournaments. That is the gig. How is it that you didn't do that? Now,
Yeah.
For some of these things, like if 200 people register for something in 2 seconds, what are you gonna do? Like it's some things are not plausible, right? Like maybe literally a machine took a second longer to process whatever. Like it's that, okay, fine. Barring that, that's your job, and you didn't do it. And there's
that was the second chance too. The first chance, it took like 12 hours for the things to fill up. That's on you.
And here's the other thing too, though. I mean, who is the top player? That, I mean, like 16-bit said it, but in the chat. But this is exactly what I was thinking as well. Like, who's the top player, and where's the cutoff? And if you're at the edge of the cutoff, does that suck for you? Like, who gets to decide that? Is it Jabali who just goes, meh, you're not a top player, it's too bad? Or is it Jabali? Like, what? How do you determine this? I mean, obviously,
Can I say I would watch that stream? I would watch the top player Jabali CEO draft stream.
Yo,
for sure.
Dude,
I would watch that.
What if it was top or not, and he's like literally swiping to the side on people? Oh, that's
okay.
I would
Okay, you know what? You know what? You know what?
Let's do it.
I'm down with it now. Let's do this just so I can have Jabali swiping Tinder style on top players, basically.
Top or not? Oh my god, terrible.
Yes. Somebody make that app.
Top.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's an obvious problem. Maybe I slip a $5 to old Jabali and I go, "Hey, buddy, remember me when it comes to picking top players or not?" Right? Like, well, why not? I think that's a very obvious like root of critique, that it's just practically implausible to pick who the top players are. There's enough discussion about how to seed. Like, ask Curly W and everybody else who's involved with seeding. Even that is like always onerous, and it's always contentious. Let alone being like, you're the top player who gets to join early. Like, that is just it's impractical for that reason alone. But even more than that, as Tubbo was saying, it's the people who go 0-2, who make up the bulk of the tournament, who, frankly, I'm more concerned with in many ways. I mean, my general view, as I said on Twitter, is that top players, but like every other role, are basically interchangeable people in a substantial way. Like, people who are top players today won't be top players tomorrow in every case. And in many cases, the people who are currently 0-2 in some places, they will be the new top players in the future. Things are always it's always changing around, and you don't know when that's going to change. The same is true for people who are 0-2. These things are constantly in flux, and you need to have each one of these roles. Well, who knows? He needs top players, but top players exist. They definitely do need everybody else at the tournament to enter, so that their pots are big enough that they can make a gig out of this. That's a huge part of it. There need to be people at the event spectating to make it worthwhile, for example, for the teams to bother employing them or having them as contractors to fly them out, so the eyeballs are on them. Like, it is those people who make up the bulk of who we should be concerned about. And I'm not as concerned about top players.
And the fact of the matter is, I mean, there's been people who have been arguing that the FGC and Smash should be separated completely, just because, they're not the same scene. And, this is kind of one of those, similar situations that kind of argues for it. I don't want it to happen. Keep that in mind. I'd rather have them be one scene, because I think we could benefit from each other. But the problem is, in the FGC, at least in our side of things, we've spent most of our lives making sure that the top players don't have any extra benefits. They play in the same pools that you do. They have the same access. A while ago, they wanted the VIP rooms just for the top players, and then to skip pools and stuff like that. And we've been against that, because we everybody has an equal chance, right? Daigo has the same chance as Joe Schmo, who ends up at a tournament. And it really just comes down to skill that determines everything. And, that's a philosophy that we've prided ourselves in. There's also been talk of, fighting game community should only do exhibitions now, and only do invites and stuff like that. And it's just not the nature of our scene. We've always been about, it's that arcade culture, right? You put up a quarter, you have your right to play. We may beat you up and laugh at you and try to get you not to come back to our arcade or whatever like that. But if you keep coming back and you eventually start winning, like, you always had your right to play. That was just, that's the way it always is in the arcade culture. You always had your right to play, whether you were Alex Vibe putting up the token or dude visiting from out of town and didn't know what you were getting yourself into putting up a token. You know what I mean? That's the way it's always been.
Yeah, I feel that, again, top players are basically fungible and replaceable. And they just, while I like many of them, I don't think that they have their individual like power or whatever is not very great. There's a few exceptions to that. Like, I think like Daigo is an exception, but there's like only a handful. The Smash scene has obviously some of its own. There are some exceptions that I think where there sort of is like a personality that matters to people and then sort of matters more than just like watching them play. For most people, though, it's not really what that's about. Again, I think that's true for most roles. That's true for my role, I think. I think as a commentator, I think that's true. Right. In, again, some exceptions, usually not exceptions. So I do not want to like build policy around people who have that take. I know, people in the chat are sort of bringing some of this up, but as far as, should somebody who is basically coming as a tourist, who knows, they enjoy playing Smash, they like watching Smash, but like they're really going to CEO because it's like, it's Florida. Maybe I'll meet some people. Maybe I'll have fun. Like, that's why, and not so much that they're trying to win the event. But that's the case for, if there's a 500 person bracket, 460 people, right? There's whatever number, something like that. Almost nobody who goes has a realistic expectation of winning. That's just honestly a handful of people.
Yeah.
And if instead just a handful of people went, there'd be no money in this at all. So that right. you just can't build policy or tournament structure or whatever around that kind of desire. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not even like a defensible ideological position. I don't know. Maybe you're just somebody who really cares about hierarchy or whatever.
What the hell?
I just don't think that there's anything in there.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the entire Justin Wong crew over here with the 1,141 man raid over here.
Hi,
Okay, nice.
everybody.
Thanks a lot to Justin Wong. So here's what I would say. I was just saying, Justin, that I think that many top players are basically replaceable. You are good, and that's true. I would have said that even beforehand. That is again. I think that's the exception.
Well, look. Here's the thing, right? I mean, I want to address.
Stole KnowKami from you.
Woo,
good. Hold that L, Justin.
We're gonna have KnowKami on in just a little bit.
Look, I just want to talk about one thing that people in the chat were mentioning about, though, is like, obviously it's better for the streamers to have the bigger players there, right? So that you have better. But the thing about it is, you're gonna have a lot of the great players at the events, and it already skews to the known players as well. But at the same time, isn't it exciting when you see that newer player that you haven't heard of showed up, especially in this day and age with all the lockdown and the COVID we've had, and Strive having amazing netcode. Lost Soul showed up to his first CEO tournament and got like top 3. He might have even won the tournament. I don't even remember, but he was an online Exerd player,
right,
and
online
Exerd player. Poor man was suffering out there, and he came in CEO and he won, and I was like, who's this guy? And and now he's like basically one of the best players. That's exciting in a lot of ways. Sure, you want to see the players that and stuff, but the chance to have a new person, a new face show off, I think that's fantastic. Let's have the room for the lesser known players and show up. I
mean, look, without hyperbole, everybody is important, right? We do need to have the top players who are bringing in the eyeballs.
Right.
Obviously, that's
and hang on
we
a
do
second.
need to have the top players who are.
Hang on a second. I want to repeat what Curly W said in the stream, because Curly W obviously knows a lot of this more than anyone else. He says stream viewer numbers for offline open events are almost unaffected by who is in attendance. So there you go. That is straight from one of the people who is in charge of this stuff. Okay. So,
Okay.
Yeah, but continue, David. Sorry, I just wanted to read that one out loud because I thought that was important. So.
Okay, all right. Well, again, I mean, I do think that having top players there is important. Same with everybody else, though. Same with the players who go 0-2. Same with the people who are striving to go from being somebody who just attends tournaments to winning. Like, these are all, those are all important roles. I mean, again, my preference is to make sure that if I'm catering to anybody, it's like the bulk of people. It's like more people. And so I would not want to have some system designed for top players exclusively, for sure, at open events.
And it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe considering that information from Curly, they're maybe not as important as I was just saying.
And you know what the funny thing is? You were making the example of waking up at 7 in the morning to go to school every single morning, Tubo. Justin just posted in the chat. He says, "Listen, I just register early every single time. That's all you got to do." And he was also the guy that showed up to all of his morning pools at Evo and never complained about it too. So, just be responsible, dude. Just do it.
He is a mensch. There's no doubt about it. For sure. Yeah, anything else to say about designing? Look, we've often had similar discussions. And it's good to have invitationals. Everybody likes invitationals. Yes. Those are fun to watch. They're fun. I'm sure they're fun to play in. That's important. I like that. And I wouldn't want to not have those. But also, let's continue to have regular open brackets. Like, we need both, and they both should be there. And I feel like, honestly, we have been doing a pretty good job at having both pre-COVID, right? At this point, it's a little bit different story. But pre-COVID, I felt like we were doing a good job at having both of those things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as Curly W says, just to kind of top this off, the channel for the top 8 stream affects viewership more than who is playing in it. And this is something that I have noticed, that event viewership usually is based more on the channel more than anything else, because a lot of the times, like, we'll go to, before, when we've gone to like Game Over, or we go to, an event in Puerto Rico, or the Dominican Republic, and they've just got the most ridiculous players there. The channel is not Team Spooky. The channel is not CEO Gaming. And so you only just get a few hundred views, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 views. It's crazy how hard it is. The players aren't the ones that are necessarily pulling people in there. That's just not how Twitch functions, really. You know what I mean? Like, for an NBA Finals, you want to see, Magic versus Bird, Jordan versus, you want to see the big names in there, because that's how TV works, but that's just not how Twitch works, unfortunately.
Well, as a hockey fan, I can tell you that there's a significant difference if, like, tiny channel that's inaccessible to most people is carrying the Stanley Cup Finals versus, like, if it's on NBC. Like, there is the channel matters a lot, even still in TV.
I'm actually getting fuzzy David here, but
I have died, and
I don't know why it's fuzzy. Interesting. Okay. Man.
All right. Anything else to say on this one?
Nope. On to the next thing.
I mean, Big 4 Lil says, look at Intel earlier today. Almost all NLBC, barely 1.5 viewers average. So there you go. Top level talent, top level commentators, top level players, and not that many people. So there you go.
But also, Intel's done a really bad job at letting people know when and where to watch stuff.
I honestly do agree with that. But I will also say that I think the idea of, like, people being kind of like fungible and replaceable, sort of, and not bringing in that many actual eyeballs is also kind of true for commentators, to be honest. Like, we add a little bit, but
except for me, I'm the best.
You're the best, so it's a little bit of a
I'm already clearly on the way out here, because I'm super old at this point. So.
Bro, all three of us are old. There's not a young man on this show.
We move on. Let's talk about this event that happened over the past weekend, which was super fun. We talked about it last time on the show. We had Apology Man on here, and he was talking up the fact that this was going to be this weekend.
Yeah.
And in fact, then it happened. So it was Apology Man presents the North America versus Japan Guilty Gear Strive 10v10 exhibition. And it had a very, very strong list of players. Let me tell you who the two teams were. North America, Sonic Fox, Apology Man, Justin Wong, Kizzy K, Hook Gang God, Deb, Lord Knight, KnowKami, Lost Soul, and Kid Viper. And then on Japan's side, Goichi, Dogura, Kazunoko, Nage, FAB, Samito, Tomo, Nakamura, Domi, and Koichi. So these are in obviously both sides, players who have had a lot of success in other games, Guilty Gear and other games, and some of the best known players in both regions. Some extremely strong players who maybe like aren't the most famous as well, but are also super good at the game. So I thought it was a really good mix of players, and it was cool too because before we get to the actual results, the character selection was really interesting. I thought that was a lot of fun to watch. So here's the list of characters. There were 3 Fausts, 3 Milias, 3 Chips, and 3 Anjis. There was two Zatos, 2 Leos, 1 Soul, 1 Kai, 1 Mei, and 1 Potemkin, which means that there were not any Geos, Enos, Nagos, Rams, or Axels.
Yeah, we definitely know who was using the soul, right?
Yeah. Okay, so here's what happened. Well, Japan.
Well,
Okay, so it was a 10v10 Waseda style. So rather than having one player who plays until they lose, and maybe they just like dominate the entire other team, it's each player number one plays against player number 1, player 2 plays versus player 2, all the way down the line. So you actually get to see everybody who plays in it.
How did teams determine what order they were putting their players out in?
That was at the moment. It wasn't in advance. So in each case, the teams did not necessarily know who was coming up next, and neither did the commentators. They were just kind of being like, well, they were apparently paying attention to their Discord, and in the Discord, according to Sajam and Apology Man, who were doing the commentary, they could see the players just being like, well, on the NA side, well, who wants to go up next? Or like, hey, anybody here? Like, who's coming up? And then on the Japan side, they said that everybody was in a call, in a constant conversation, talking it up, trying to plan it out. Yeah, it's just very different philosophies. I mean, obviously, it's just nothing on the line. It's just fun stuff.
I mean, even after the loop finished, I think the second round, they could send up whoever they wanted. I don't think that they were even fixed to send them back in the same order, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it wasn't super like strict or anything like that, but that's fine. Yeah. Right. That's fine.
Yeah, of course. Again, it's amazing that we could even have a Japan versus NA online event. Like, amazing.
Dude, it's ridiculous. I mean,
what?
There was obviously some issues. There was definitely rollback. You could even see it from the viewer side. Lord Knight said that Chip literally disappeared from his view at one point in time. I have the fun and feeling he probably went, find me, and then it rolled back and forgot to redraw him. And so Chip was literally missing. So
can't find him.
Oops. Yeah. So obviously issues that obviously Arxis needs to work out, because that's a bug. That is not a feature.
But also, like, fundamentally, it's Japan to not even just like West Coast of NA, but to like the northeast of NA, like,
Lord Knight is New Yorkish area, right? So
is all over. Yeah. All right, here's what happened. So in round number 1, Japan, each Japanese player beat each NA player that they played against, with the exception that Deb beat Nakamura and KnowKami beat Dogura.
Yeah, in a Zato mirror match, nonetheless, too.
Mirror,
yeah,
for sure.
Zato mirror.
And Deb was the soul that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then in round number 2, Deb beat Domi, and then Nage beat KnowKami, and then Deb beat Koichi, and then Deb beat Tomo, and then FAB finally closed it out by beating Deb. So Japan won 10 to 5 overall, I guess is what it was. Yeah, anyway, it was a lot of fun to watch. What you guys think?
MVP of US is from Canada.
Right? Yeah. It wasn't USA versus Japan. It was NA versus Japan.
Right.
North America, get it right.
Get it right.
And Deb,
My thoughts are, I haven't gotten to see it yet.
Oh.
The girlfriend was over, so
Your real life and stuff.
we were watching not that.
Okay.
I would have preferred to watch that, but you know.
you haven't converted her fully into FGC yet, or
No, I never will. That's definitely not going to be her thing.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, same for me, and it's been like 9 years. But that's fine as long as they're supporting us, which is all that really matters. I did watch it. I thought it was awesome. I didn't watch it at the time because I too was doing real life stuff. I went out. We went to a friend's house and ate dinner inside. Oh
incredible.
my God. It was actually amazing.
I restreamed the event, and I got to admit, like I asked Apology Man if I could restream it as a beginner event.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like I spent so much time like answering questions and talking, like I kind of half watched a lot of the matches because I was explaining. But I mean, to be fair, a lot of the matches were super close, right? A lot of the matches were the US player or the NA player won the first game, and then the other player had to make the comeback after 2 games, etc., etc. So, you know,
3-0 close though.
Yeah.
I did watch the entire thing the next morning.
Okay,
right? So
okay.
to be clear, I definitely did watch all of it, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Also, I want to say, shout outs to Apology Man, who I was giving commentary lessons a couple of times, and I thought he did it really nicely.
Cool.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how you thought he did.
I thought it was great. Yeah,
I
he
knew
definitely.
I knew the
was working on it.
dealio there.
He was. Let me tell you, he was taking it seriously, and he was definitely working on it. Like he
Good.
was watching over the like lessons that we did, and he was practicing with other friends, and he was watching other events to like understand how other people commentate. Like he really put time into it. I don't think it's something that he wants to do long term, but he was really invested in making this good.
Before he came on the show, he was telling me how he's like, I just don't want to look stupid.
Right.
I was like, fair enough. David will help you with that. Yeah, I think he'll take care of
I don't
that.
think he looked stupid. I thought it was great. But yeah, you're right, James, that the matches were almost all close, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And even where they weren't, I thought it was really cool. I definitely saw some stuff that I hadn't seen before. Some ways of playing. Again, we talked about the characters. I didn't expect there to be that many Anjis. That was a surprise to me. There were 3 Fausts. I thought that was interesting.
Dude.
And what was cool too is that even watching like Nage Faust was sick.
Dude.
That dude was doing a bunch of cool stuff.
Dude,
And
I tell people,
apparently he's up playing the character on Twitter and stuff. It's super cool as opposed to here where a lot of us think that Faust is not very good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I talked about what makes Nage so good with Faust is that, you know, when he tosses the item, you can see what it is. And Nage literally just sits there and practices each item in every situation. If I toss this, this is my plan. If I toss this, like you can see it in Exerd. Like if he tosses the gravity well and then tosses something else, he knows what to do with the 2 items combined and stuff like that. Like that's what makes Nage Faust amazing. And Faust, the more I watch of him, the more I do believe he has a lot of potential. It's very similar to Anji. A lot of the people who are having trouble with Anji are former Anji players, and then you get people who are like La Soul, who's never played XX, or at least not as seriously as Exerd. He's using Anji and doing different things, you know, going into it with a fresher mindset. And La Soul is doing fantastic with Anji, honestly.
Yeah, it's true. I think there's a lot of examples of that.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
I was gonna say it's weird how when sometimes they make a new game, not everything translates from the old game because it's a new game.
No,
I don't know, man.
Okay, look,
coming from Street Fighter, like it just
right. To be fair, Guilty Gear has never had that happen to them, right? Fausts have been doing faultless defensive cancel.
I love this damn game.
Look, faultless defense into jump H, like they've been doing all that stuff for a decade, okay? Literally a decade, more than a decade. And so to be fair, it is harder coming from that background, especially if you haven't played especially if you're not a Street Fighter player, where every game is just a complete, like...
Yeah, well, you know, I'm sure, like, horse and carriage buggy drivers were real pissed off when automobiles became popular, but shit changes. Move with the times, old men.
It never changed before for Guilty Gear. That's just the thing, right?
I do recall that when Xrd first came out, there were a lot of people who weren't super stoked about whatever changes they had.
Well, they hated like the Roman cancel system and such, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's, again, I'm no gear expert, but I do recall people talking about that.
Right.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Shout outs to Deb. Deb killed it. She was, dude, just knocking it out of the park. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, that is dope. I need to go back and watch it.
And definitely, you know, showed a lot of the power that Soul has. And I'm really surprised there was only one Soul in that tournament. But, you know, with the lineup there, a lot of them I felt like were character loyalists, right? And so in past Guilty Gears, like someone actually tweeted out at one point and was like, well, what do you expect? Soul is always like broken. And that's not actually true. Soul has been mid a lot of the times, and so a lot of these top players who were invited this probably weren't previous Soul players before, right? So we just didn't have, a lot of them were character loyalists. You know, they were playing the character that they used to play. FAP is still playing Potemkin, Naga is still playing Faust, etc., etc. So,
and FAB looking pretty sick, to be honest. But
dude,
I guess no surprise there.
Dude,
do you think that this event has much to say about like the parity or not between NA and Japan? Is this something that you could sort of learn a lesson from as far as like what seems good or not?
Look, buddy. Look, but I already learned my lesson on that, okay? Look, I made a comment about that, and I definitely got attacked for it. I mean, I think... what makes me sad about this is that, look, as a old school head, okay, when it comes to team tournaments, we took team tournaments very seriously. You know, when it was NorCal versus SoCal, when it was East Coast versus West Coast, there was a lot of seriousness. I didn't hear about what you said with Sajam and Apology Man were saying, that like Japan was literally all on a call and like discussing things, and NA's like, who's here? Who wants to play? You know, these kind of things, you know, and yeah, it's an exhibition. It's a 10v10. It's fun and everything like that, but you like to make early statements. That's all. That's all it really comes down to, I think. And, you know, it is an exhibition.
Well, I don't see why it even matters. I feel like it's about how you finish, not how you start.
Ooh,
so
right. Yeah, absolutely.
We're only, what, 18 days into this game? I learned, I don't need to watch it. I learned nothing from who won and who lost. Like, let's talk about it 2 years from now when people really know the game.
Absolutely, but that's still not the point. The point is you wanna send a message early in rivalries. See, again, I'm talking super old school. Rivalries mean everything to me because I feel like rivalries are one of the strongest lifebloods of the FGC. SoCal got as good as it did because it had the rivalry with NorCal. West Coast got as good as it did because it had the rivalry with East Coast. East Coast got as good as it did because it had the rivalry with West Coast. US got as good as it did because it had the rivalry with Japan. Like, I feel like rivalries, these team tournament rivalries, are super important. That's just how I feel about rivalries. So, you know, obviously I'm going to make a comment about it because part of me is really sad that it turned out the way it did. You know, yeah, obviously in the long term of things, we'll find out what happens as we keep learning. But like, but as an old school player, like you talk to someone like Vae for a game that came out 3 weeks and they're going into an exhibition. Back then, Vae is like, there's no way we are fucking losing this exhibition. Like, we are sending this message now. Like, that's how we took these kind of exhibitions in the past. Yes, old school mindset, my bad. I shouldn't have said what I said because I definitely hurt a lot of people's feelings, and so I'm not. It's different now. It's people don't view exhibitions and team tournaments that way. That's how I've always viewed it. I have to get with the times. Basically, that's what I gotta do. So
yeah, I don't think that they were taking it seriously. Is how it seemed. Not that anybody goes into it wanting to lose or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And obviously, they were trying to play well, but I did not get the sense like leading up to it or in the event itself that it was like super duper important, and that's fine with me. It's totally cool with me. Like it's around the world. It's like a one side of the earth to the other side of the earth, first of all, and then second of all, like it's the game's new. People are figuring out characters. I really think it's totally fine. I'm not concerned about it. I definitely think that there are lots of strong players in NA, and one thing that gives me hope for that is that this list of players includes people who are, again, not just like exclusively gear players. You got players here who have played all sorts of stuff. Many of them have played gear in the past, for sure. But there are also people who have been top level players in everything from like Marvel to Street Fighter to NRS games to whatever else. And so having that kind of like mix of talent, you know, we've been talking about this game as the meetup game that many people from many different scenes are playing. That's awesome. And I think that could lead, and probably will lead, to a lot of strength in the scene. So I'm not like, worried about the future of NA competing or whatever like that.
With how strong NA has done in Exerd, doing super well in many tournaments there, beating a lot of Japanese players here. I just being a lot of Japanese players, Lost Soul getting third place at EVO, beating players like Nage, and having those players be like, oh my god, he's like surprising them and impressing them how good he was and stuff. You know, with the way that the Strive netcode is, the NA players are going to be able to practice with each other. Like, this is probably going to be the closest, if not, we're going to start reaching that parity level with Japan, you know, like Tubo said, in a while, you know, for sure. I have no doubts about that. Like I said, again, for me, it's just team tournaments for me, they're serious. And when you lose, you talk a lot of shit. Even like at bar fights, when US died to when West Coast died to East Coast.
US, that's California's idea of the US, just US versus East Coast.
When West Coast died to the East Coast, there were West Coast people who talked shit to the West Coast players. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of teased them about it, right? Because you're like, this sucks. And that's literally what inspired Vi to do Shiggle BMX. Like, right after that, Vi went to Shiggle BMX because he's like, I can't have West Coast lose the East Coast. And then that's what got him stronger. And the only reason why that happened in the first place is because West Coast got complacent because Sensation flew out Gutex, Mike Ross, and Combo Fiend. And those three beat everybody at Sensation. And so West Coast thought they were so good that they kind of got complacent until Bar Fights 2. You know, this is what I mean. The rivalries drive the passion. If it wasn't for that Bar Fights beating, we might not have Wednesday night fights. Like, literally. We may not have Wednesday night fights. We certainly wouldn't have Tatsu. We wouldn't have had Warrock. We wouldn't have had Andy OCR. We wouldn't have Shiza, RIP to Shiza. We wouldn't have had Snake Eyes. We wouldn't have had a lot of these people. There would be no Christatarians, nothing. If that domination didn't happen. That's how I view rivalries. Again, why I stated what I did is because that's how important they are to me. That's how important these kind of things are. So that's just...
Well, I like the point that is made by Necromancy Black in the chat, that the region is now the world.
Yes.
And I think in a way that's true. This sort of rivalries thing that you're talking about has always been expanding. It began as arcade versus arcade within the same cities. And that's not just the case where we're from, but like many different cities around the world had that. Yeah. And then it was like city versus other city, and then it was region versus other region, and country versus other country. And now when players, especially on the West Coast, but even in, like, Tupperware has been playing people in Japan, like, that is a practical thing to do. And if you don't know, he lives in the Midwest in North America. Now that's something that's practical, like your training buddy can be in Japan or wherever almost. And so that's just going to be different. And for Japan, their training buddies can be in Singapore. I heard somebody say, like, that is so far away. So each of these people, maybe there's a player in Australia whose training buddy is in Singapore, whose training buddy is in Japan, who plays with Tupperware all the time. So that's just a completely different situation than we've ever had before.
Yeah.
Even games that have fantastic netcode like Killer Instinct, honestly, didn't have as many players.
Yeah.
Right?
And
I mean,
you
that
can't
was the
really
issue.
do that either.
Right.
Like
And,
American fan in that game is rough.
no,
Oh,
for sure.
Is it? Okay.
Well, I mean, I have played it against people in Japan, although only a couple of times, and I felt it was fine. But I think for me, the bigger problem was that there weren't that many people to play in Japan. And in Strive, there's a ton of people to play in Japan. But Strive's is even better. The netcode's even better, as you were saying. So this is new. And it may be that the case that the region is the world now. It may just be no more regionalities or whatever. We're all just on Earth.
Yeah.
Which maybe is not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, there always is that factor. Like I said, there's the U.S. versus Japan, and U.S. will team up to try to beat Japan in many games. But that still doesn't stop the East Coast and West Coast from happening. It still doesn't stop the NorCal from SoCal from happening. And it's still, the rivalries. I've often told people in Texas that, they need to set up leagues between the 4 major cities, like San Antonio versus Austin versus Dallas versus Houston, to really try to create this kind of thing. And they could do it with Strive now with the netcode. Now they don't actually have to travel, and apparently they say they did that. Yeah, Florida versus Texas. Remember that Mortal Kombat event, right? Like, this is what I mean, man. Like, it's my bad. It's my fault, because I'm coming into this with such an old school mentality, but these region exhibitions to me sometimes matter as much to me as an open tournament. The days of Luca and Sanchez just freaking railing on NorCal, at NCRs and SCRs, when we commentated Snake Eyes' epic reverse OCV against NorCal, in Street Fighter 4. Like I said, it's my fault that I still view these exhibitions that way, and I just have to understand that people who didn't grow up in the same era that I did don't see it that way, basically. So,
well, I think the example of the MK11 Texas versus Florida event shows that it's not true, that this is just an old school thing. I think the issue here is just that this is just like not that event.
Right.
This just wasn't that event. Like, it was an online thing that nobody was super taking seriously.
For sure.
There will still be team tournaments that matter, but this just wasn't. It was fun to watch. That was it.
Right.
All right. Well, we're way past time.
Let's move on.
Oh man.
Let's go to break. Bring on KnowKami.
Yes. Exactly. We're gonna come back. We're gonna have KnowKami on here. We're gonna be talking about his background, how he built his stream, Guilty Gear Strive, the 10v10, and so forth. We can ask him.
Absolutely.
How seriously were you taking this thing?
The way that he popped off after he beat Dogra, I think we know the answer. So we'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back.
Damn, I just wasted that good pun for no reason.
That's right. We are. So before I bring on, so KnowKami, I think his Twitter, I think I got it right over here. So let's do this.
Professionals here.
Exactly. Steps I forgot to do. Ever since I've gone to the new thing, there's a lot more extra steps that I've had to take for doing this, and I've just forgotten a lot of it. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, we are ready to go. Let's do this. Let's bring on our guest, Mr. KnowKami. How you doing, sir?
How you guys doing?
Hey!
Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah.
We wanted to bring you on to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about building your stream and Guilty Gear Strive and how you're liking it and all sorts of stuff like that. But let's start by talking about your background. How did you come to the FGC? How did you start taking fighting games seriously? How did that become a big part of your life?
Well, I always have been super competitive. I didn't realize it until like my girlfriend sat me down and she was like, yo, you're competing everywhere we go. And that was a couple months ago, but I've always been super competitive.
You had an intervention?
Wow. Gotta let you know about yourself.
Oh man.
I took part in like pretty much everything, whether it be spelling bees or football, basketball. I've always been a sports guy. And around about 2010 and 2011, I started watching fighting games because I saw Evo. It was Filipino champ versus Infant. It was Filipino champ versus Infant. That was the first time I ever had seen a fighting game being played in the capacity that it was being played.
Yo.
Magneto, he really pulled me in. Like seeing the hypergraph loop, it was incredible. And I went out and I got Marvel 3 a couple weeks later. I saw you guys cast Street Fighter 4, David, James, and Seth Killian.
Yeah.
I saw all you guys casting that and Marvel, and that was just really amazing. And you pulled me in. I saw James crying, and I was like, "Yo, they're passionate. I might want to try this and be a part of this." So I just was playing and I was learning. It wasn't until like I got into college and I started playing football, and then I hurt my leg that I was able to like play games more. I was never able to like take them serious until then. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into things. I would say taking them seriously, it probably came when Marlon Pie bodied me really bad when I picked up Guilty Gear Revelator. I picked up Rev 1 and he beat me really bad. And I was like, I gotta figure out what's going on here. So I started looking into things and I found a ton of content for the games I was into, and it was off from there.
Talk to me more about your experience in college and playing sports. Like what happened with that?
Okay, so I've always been like an athlete. Like I was talking about earlier, I do track. I played basketball in high school. I trained with the baseball team, but they wouldn't let me play every single sport like I wanted to. So it came to a point where I had to pick something, and I ended up picking football. I signed with Methodist University in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and during training camp, I ended up hurting my knee. I tore my ACL, MCL, and it was the second time I had done it. Like the first time, I was like, you know, 2 surgeries, we're gonna come back from this. The second time, they were talking like having multiple upon multiple like surgeries and stuff, and I knew when I like got back healed up, I was like, it's not gonna, it doesn't feel the same. So I needed something to fill that competitive void. It was really important to me because, you know, doing like normal things, just working, coming home, maybe cutting the grass, spending time with family, it's really fulfilling to me. But I was always missing that extra thing, and that's what playing in the mental warfare and all that goes into fighting games really intrigues me, and it's something that's really near and dear to my heart, and I appreciate being welcomed by the community and being able to learn them in this capacity.
That's interesting. You know, I did not play sports at as high a level as you did, but I broke a couple of bones playing football, and I blew up my rotator playing hockey and stuff like that. And I felt the same way. I felt at some point there was no more competition in sports for me, but I needed the competition.
Right.
And I too this was in college for me as well.
Yes.
I couldn't do martial arts anymore for the same reason, especially when that was really joint intensive, like capoeira that I was doing. And
Yes.
so I had to find something. That's funny that you had the same kind of thing. Tubbleware also played football, right? Like this is something that
I
I
played
think many of
football
us
and I
have
wrestled
experienced.
and I threw shot put.
I also threw shot put. For my coach made me do it. I didn't want to, but he was like, "Dude, you're 220. You're not going to be winning the 100-meter dash. So
Throw the shot."
Yeah, you need to throw the shot. Also, it's funny you mentioned capoeira, David. I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I actually got the chance to train with Hoist Gracie a couple times in Greenville, North Carolina, and it was really amazing. So like seeing that you guys also felt that or feel that need to not even perform for people, but for you to be the best you can be, whether it be sports or martial arts. That's really cool that we all share that.
You know, it's a really interesting story because on the opposite end of that as well, at Evo 2008, 2007 period of time when the FGC was in its dark ages, you know, a lot of players actually started moving to poker. You know, that's when Visant went to poker. Watson became really into poker.
Like Watson,
because we were missing that same thing. I mean, Randy Liu, who's a really famous poker player. I forgot what his handle is in poker, but like he's super famous. He was a top Marvel 2 player. You know?
Havad Khan.
Yeah, Havad Khan was a Marvel
Khan,
player, and he made it to the final table in the World Series of Poker. It's the same thing. There are those of us that just have to compete. Nanoko, there you go. Nanoko is who Randy Liu is, But we just have to compete, man. We have to compete.
I feel the same way. It's something that, like I said, a couple months ago, I was like, maybe this is a problem. Like, is there a reason? She was trying to take the trash out. I'm trying to rush and take the trash out before her. I'm like, you're too old for this. Go back, go upstairs, play some ranked matches, and get it out of your system.
What was it about fighting games in particular that made them the next step for you? There's any number of video games that you could have played, right? Fighting games aren't the most popular. They're not the biggest ones. What is it about them that made you want to pick them up and have them be the new competitive thing for you?
It was the one-on-one aspect. I've always played team sports. Always. I've never, I never wrestle, which you're on a team, but it's a one-on-one interaction.
Right.
I never...
No tennis, boxing.
No tennis, anything like that. So there came a point, and I was mostly, not trying to brag, I usually ended up being like captains of my team. Maybe not because I was the best player, but because I was really bossy, coming up. So with fighting games, when I compared them to shooters, I saw that it was more of you get in what you put in. So I wouldn't have to worry about, hey man, my bot lane is really messed up, or my jungler is doing a bad job today. I liked having it all on me, and I liked the conversation aspect of a fighting game. I feel like whenever we sit and we're playing someone, anytime, you're having some sort of conversation. And that's why I used to think that, this is funny, I used to think that there was a specific way to play. And I do think there's an optimal way, but the conversation aspect of it, it really has gotten me to see that people view these games different ways. They approach them different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just the way that they approach them with X character is what you're dealing with. So it's really made it even more of an amazing experience looking at them that way.
Yeah, I've often, when I try to teach people fighting games, I often tell them it's two people telling stories. It's just that both of you are trying to lie to each other the whole time. It's like, when you're arguing with your brother, like, I have this power. Well, actually, I have this power that beats that power. But actually, my character has this, that's basically what fighting games are. And it's like so good.
Yes. And I didn't look at it that way. I saw two things. I saw you actually explain it. And this is why, you guys, I just turned 24. I've been watching fighting game content since 2011, so 10 years. I was around 13, 14 when I started watching. You guys have had that much of a reach. I didn't think of games as conversations until I heard James say it in a documentary that I watched on the bus on the way to a football game. So that was really important. I didn't look at characters as extensions of your thought process and how you play until I saw Daigo talk about it in an interview. So these things really, really mattered, and you guys really mattered to my growth too. So I just appreciate everyone being as available as they were too, thinking of it, because y'all didn't have to do that. So I wanted to say that if I ever got a chance to get on the show and talk to you guys, because that was a huge part. without me hearing these things, I'm still being pissed off at someone who DP'd me. You know, it takes that.
Thanks, dude. I really appreciate that.
Very nice of you to say.
So,
Well, oh, go ahead, David.
So I was about to
you
say,
can do it.
well, I was gonna say, so you said that, but now that I've made the Guilty Gear community mad at me here, what do you think of me now, KnowKami? See, that's the question, right? That's the question.
I really like with the 10v10. I think that it was a really good way of showcasing high-level gameplay from both sides of the world. I don't think, to be honest with you, James, I don't even think you said anything like that super crazy. It's just that sometimes, like with it being the social media age, like someone might say, "Oh man, USA got bodied," all right, and then it's like it comes back on the players or in their stream chats or in wherever, and now they're dealing with trolls or et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And sometimes it feels like picking. But like I said, what you said wasn't even like that bad. I come from the sports age, so I know that like sometimes ribbing it is there to get you better. And I mean, I won my match, so I didn't think you were talking about. Stop it.
It wasn't personal for you. So you're 24. Honestly, you're at a younger age than many other people who get strong at fighting games. I mean, people younger than you do as well, but you're certainly not on the older side. How do you feel, or maybe let me put it like this: what do you feel allowed you to become a strong player as relatively quickly as you did?
I feel like the main thing I had, first of all, I had really great teachers. I did, and that's why I think when you get, a lot of the great content creators and stuff you have for these games and this whole new age we're entering with FGC content creation, I think it's a really great thing because I learned from people just reaching out to them. And I feel like it even took me a bit longer than it would have. But I've had people like Evo champions, all types of people invest in me. But before that, it was like, I feel like the biggest thing that led to my own improvement or to whatever level I am now was just attacking or approaching fighting games as approaching them. I've always felt like I have the keys to my success. So whether or not I win or lose, it's not up to the other person so much as it to me executing. So when things would happen in matches, or let's say I play Kazunoko and for top 8, Guilty Gear XR 2018. Me and him played to get an early match, and I got sent to losers. And he DP'd me like 6 times in a row. And
Kazunoko.
That's what he does. That's what he does. But instead of like looking at it, I see a lot of newer players, they look at it like, oh man, this is scrubby play. Instead, I really looked at it and break down the scenarios, and I try to be better in those instances every single time. So it's just, for me, I think has just been a lot of sitting back and like humbling myself and knowing that I'm not that great. So if something negative happens in a match, not to say that I'm weak, I'm not almighty. Like, I'm going to lose matches, I'm going to lose interactions. When those things happen, I choose to say, I just lost that interaction. How can I be better? Not my opponent did something scrubby or right. Why did this happen? The game is random. So I think that mindset and like the perseverance and determination that like sports taught me, because like when you got to make that free throw for your team or you lose the game, that's a lot of pressure. So I feel like having to do that constantly also might have aided me when entering fighting games. But I would say it's those 3 things. The teachers, big shout outs to my first sensei, Lanimal, Common Sense, Rico Suave has helped me a ton. Marlon Pie, Kizzy, Perfect Legend, Sonic Fox. All these people have like gave me amazing advice when entering these games. So my teachers, the mindset, and just coming from that sports background.
Yeah.
Sure.
Those are all really good folks to have in your corner, no doubt about it.
Yeah, they all are so great. Like I really think I'm blessed to have been able to meet such strong players and have great interactions with them because I've always exited them, leaving with a friend or a great training partner, acquaintance. Lord Knight, also another one. It's really nice.
So you have built a nice stream presence for yourself, and I'm curious if you could talk about how you went about doing that. What were the strategies, if any, that you used for that? What was your
What
mindset?
David is saying is, how do we get famous on Twitch fast? Give us the tips right now. We need the tech. We need the tech.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It kind of didn't happen on purpose. We haven't had offline for an extended period of time now.
Right.
So there tends to be a lot of trash talk going between regions, always. So rather than continue to like talk trash and stuff like that, I'm like, hey, we can just play a set. And then I'm like, man, what would be something funny to say? And I'm like, let's play inside of the dungeon. I just booted up Skyrim like 30 minutes ago. I finished, and I'm like, hey, this reminds me of that. And it became something really, really, really trailblazing because it was super fun. I think the biggest part to like growing a Twitch audience, especially in a pandemic, especially when everyone is like looking for somewhere chill to be or somewhere fun or happy to be, it's just having a great time when you're on stream. I always when I'm playing any game now, I really want anyone watching to know that, hey, I'm here to leave you with a good time and for you to go out, being like, hey, this pandemic's not so bad because I got to watch KnowKami's channel. So that was a big thing too. But a lot of it was random, guys. Like Bardock B, that was random. Like I just said that one day, and it really grew. Hook Gang God, he's a big part of it too. People would always ask me. They would always ask me to play Hook, and I got sick of it, James. I'm like, guys, he only plays at 1 a.m. Like I can't. I'm not waiting all night
Can't do
for
it.
this. I'm like, why don't you play? This guy who is asking me to play Hook and stay up until 1 a.m. So I feel like it was like a melting pot of you kind of random, but also kind of the success that came from a guy just really having fun, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you built it off a love of the games you're playing and memes. I mean,
Yeah.
So in other words,
that's a good way to go about it, I guess.
It was just no offline, so I'm like, I'm like, man, this is getting ridiculous. This guy has been calling me out for like 30 weeks, and I can't play him, but I can, So that was something that was really, really fun, and it's Dragon Ball Fighters, Guilty Gear Strive. I dabble in Naruto occasionally. All these games, anything where I can see like people's minds working. Like I could get pretty excited from watching chess too. So I think that all leads into it.
right.
Well, I appreciate you bringing up the fact that you think that it's somewhat random because
Yeah.
I think that that's basically true as well.
Yeah.
I mean, not in your specific instance necessarily, but I think that's true in a lot of people's success on Twitch. Like there is a luck factor to it, and in my experience, it's not often that people bring that up as like one of the reasons. So I do appreciate you talking about that as well.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it got to be luck when your clip gets in the the right hands of whatever person and they share it, and then someone else. You never know what's gonna happen.
I mean, like you're working hard on it. You're a really fun person to watch. Like I don't want to describe it as like it's just luck. Like
right. You're a fantastic streamer. It's very entertaining stuff
for sure.
No, I'm here to say that you just got pure luck, man. There's no talent. No, but
RNG.
RNG. You're basically Faust is just throwing items out right now. You know, so. No, but I mean, you know, speaking of obviously in 10v10, right now the hot thing is Guilty Gear Strive. You are obviously one of the strongest players in Dragon Ball and such like that. How do you feel about Strive right now? What's your take on the game? Especially, you did play Exerd. How do you feel about Strive compared to Exerd, etc., etc.?
Thank you so much for asking me about Strive. Strive is... There hasn't been a game in the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years that has came out and I've been like, this is the game. This game is fun, competitive. It checks every single box. And I feel like Strive is checking all those boxes.
It is the game. I haven't felt this happy about a game since Ultimate Marvel 3.
Yeah.
Well, I was guessing, what was the last game that gave you this feeling?
Tekken Tag 2. My friend was my Tekken Tag 2.
All right.
I learned Kazuya. I learned Kazuya, Raven, and then I started later, like in 2016, I started playing Kunimitsu and started dabbling with Nina and stuff. But Tekken Tag 2, I love Tekken, I love KOF 13, I love Third Strike. Those are my 3 favorite fighting games. And now Guilty Gear Strive is in there too. But Tekken Tag 2 was really big for me. I like seeing JDCR and Knee play was the most amazing thing to this day. Well, no, Reno taking on the entire world and winning Evo.
Yeah.
That's probably the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But yeah, that game definitely. But Strive is crazy. Like their decisions to take away air techs, the way they've handled wall breaks and minimizing set play, but still leaving setups in, or it's a lot more akin to Third Strike. Like, you know, Chun-Li will get that really cheap safe jump if you spin the meter. Kim will get that safe jump if you spin the meter. So I think that's really cool. Rollback, of course, is...
Thank you.
Say Jam, thank you so much. Keith, thank you guys.
Yeah, dude. Oh God.
It's ridiculous. Like I've been thinking about fighting games for the longest time, and I compare them to League and shooters, and I'm like, why are these games so popular? They're easier, but you can also play with everyone. And for fighting games for the longest time, like not being able to play with someone a state away, it was really detrimental.
Sometimes in the same city.
Yeah. Sometimes on the same street, dude.
Yeah.
So, like, having well-implemented rollback is just fantastic. Me and Kazunoko, we talk infrequently. I keep a relationship kind of Ogawa and Kazunoko, who the people or the JP players I talk to like on a regular basis. We'll DM Kaz will be like, and I'll be like, yeah, and you know we'll just we'll chat for a bit. And seeing like I asked him when Strive came out, he got back to me like 2 days later, or I think he has a manager that types for him now, but that's not my business. But he got back to me and he was like, I am so elated to be able to play with everyone. You know, even him, he's been to the highest heights of fighting games, and he's giddy like me. So rollback is just so huge for Strive. But they've done a lot of good things. I mentioned the air tech thing. I have always felt that when you knock someone down, or not knock them down, when you anti-air them, they shouldn't get invincible techs. I always thought that idea was like kind of old games. You know, these new games, they have a ton of RPS in almost every situation. They're high damage. So when I anti-air someone, I don't want them getting tech buttons into a 50-50. Like that decision was huge. Again, wall break was a fantastic way to minimize the looping and the boring part of fighting games, while also keeping it really, really fast paced
and rewarding,
interesting,
and rewarding, Yeah,
James, are you seeing the stuff? You know, Fenrich is posting things with Ramathal positive tension posts, and it's just ridiculous. It's insane. So they've done a great job at maintaining what the hardcore fighting game player says we're looking for in games. I think it's just been phenomenal. Even character balance wise, of course, Soul is
he exists for sure.
He's here. He's the protagonist. But the balance and the way they've approached characters and letting most characters be strong as well has just been an incredibly good decision.
I mean, for Arxis, this is the best balance they've had out the gate for a game like ever, basically. So
yes.
And I feel like they did it in a way where, you know, if you watch like So Sick Nash fan play May and you watch me play May, it's like two like our styles will not interchange. Like everybody can play the character the way they want to play the character, which is really sick.
Yeah,
dude, watching Justin play her like Storm, and he like is vocal and saying that.
It's the anchor.
Yeah, you guys are all playing a different May for sure, and that is definitely. I agree. Yeah.
So I mean, what drew you to? Did you play Zato and Exert as well? What drew you to Zato in this game here?
I played Eddie. I always call him Eddie. I've been playing Zato since. Let me see. I picked up Revelator 2015. When I picked the game up, I learned the game with Slayer. I learned it with Slayer. I got bodied by Marlon Pie. I was like, nah, I gotta play this character. So, that being said, he is my favorite. It was just always the skill barrier. It's scary.
He's hard.
It's really tough when you're just learning him. Or I also played Kazuya. So like looking at it, I was like, you know, Mishima's, they're technically harder, but this is like a new venture for me too. So at first it was daunting and scary to try them. Then it became fun. So I've been playing Zato since about the beginning of 2016. So going on 4 or 5 years now.
Now we had Li Joe here, and he said that he doesn't think Zato's that strong. What do you think?
Zato is strong. Zato is always strong.
Okay. Cool.
The way the character, in my opinion at least, Joe is really legendary. So like I can see, it's just, I can see how you might think he's not strong. It's just that I feel like the game hasn't been out yet that long, and we haven't been able to really explore the characters in a way that I feel like we're going to be able to definitively say that they're not good characters, or definitively say that they're broken. But Zato is strong. Now I didn't want like 3 tournaments.
I apologize.
I can't do that with a bad character.
I apologize. That was just light ribbing towards Li Joe. I'm an instigator these days. I'm an instigator.
What I heard was, my Zato is nice. Joe, come see me at the dungeon. That's what I heard.
I'm an instigator now.
I
have to stop this, Kami. I have to stop being an instigator. I'm sorry. Okay.
Do you guys think Soul is broken? Y'all have been seeing it. I've been seeing it. No?
Well,
okay. He's not broken. Look, he's very strong, but he's not broken.
He's top tier. Yeah.
He's the best character of the game, like clearly, and Far Slash needs to be nerfed. There is wait, give it time, and then there's Soul Far Slash. Like that's kind of how I feel about it. But the extent of Soul being powerful in this game, still compared to games that we have played in the past, again, like
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's still not. That it's still not like
Chun-Li.
It's not Blaze Blue comes out and New and Arakune are just like destroying everybody, kind of thing. So,
or like Akuma and SD.
Yeah.
He's not
He's
as
just
cool as-
playing by different rules. Like
Right.
I think he still pretty much plays by the same rules. He just has a bit more freedom, a little bit more freedom. But yeah, I think he's very strong. I think he's very Chun-Li like from Third Strike, in the terms of like just very clearly head and shoulders above the rest.
Right.
But I don't think he's broken though. I just think he's the best.
If
Are
possible- Oh,
Are you
go ahead.
planning to continue to play other games? Are you going to stick with Dragon Ball, or are you on Strive now?
Dragon Ball's netcode is really rough. It's
Sure
really
is.
really difficult. Like it's a daunting task anytime I boot up that game and it's not on PC. But I think that Dragon Ball Fighters in its current version is a pretty good game, and I will keep playing it when I go to offline events. I will keep playing it. I want to start streaming it again. It's just been like I'm never angry playing Strive. It's like the best relationship I've
feeling.
ever had with
Yeah.
a fighting game.
Yeah.
I always think, there's something I can do better. But I am really excited to see if they decide to do another season of Dragon Ball Fighters. I think that would help out a lot with interest, for myself included. So if there's another season, a netcode update, or if I go to a tournament, I'll definitely train for it and enter. But I won't be playing it as much as Strive.
All right.
If possible, I have a question for you guys. I've always wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
You guys have been really kind to like let me talk. I wanted to ask you guys, what is the man? All right, here we go.
Careful, this is your one chance, okay? You messed this question up. You'll never get to ask us a question. No, I'm just kidding.
What would you guys say is your most loved or intense fighting game set or Evo set you've ever called? Because James, you don't understand. Like, you're like a legend. David,
Don't.
you're like a super legend. Tub, you're a legend in Marvel 3. I was watching you guys like play and cast for so long, so this is really near and dear to my heart, and this is pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, like even being able to ask y'all this, it's really really fun. But what was your like most loved set you called?
All right. Here's my answer to just torpedo this whole topic. They at some point run together for me, and it's no longer easy for me to remember events and what took place and which player did what. And so my answer is really that, like, because I've thought about this too, and other people have asked me this too. It's really hard for me to say. I feel like I've seen too much good stuff, and it's not even that it's hard for me to pick among like an identified list of like my favorites. It's
Yes.
at some point it honestly runs together. Like, it's hard for me to pick them out. I have a notoriously bad memory, and so this is like the case for me for a lot of things. It's not just in fighting games. But that's my honest answer, that it honestly becomes hard for me to say at some point.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there are a few that I probably would have to pick from. Like, obviously, the Tokido Punk one is, I'm still not happy that I got emotional, but I know how much everybody loves that way that went down. Honestly, like, probably one of the more innocuous matches that I've always talked about how proud I am of. It's more of a craft pride kind of thing, was the Justin versus Snake Eyes grand finals at the 25th anniversary Los Angeles event, because it was Zangief versus Rufus, which is one of the most boring matches in the history of fighting games. And David and I were calling it, and we were excited because we love Zangief matches. We understand how the match plays. And we were calling it in a way that I remember everybody at home was like so hype about it. Everybody loved it. They enjoyed it. And everybody at the venue were bored to tears. Like, they were all just like, God, this is the worst thing. Can we go home now? Things like that. So that's a point of pride for me that we were able to do that for that match. But I mean that I also love the commentary of Ski Sonic and myself with Vi versus Bonchan with the Hugo Sagat match. You know, there's a lot of them out there. But you know, from a craft perspective, I always think back to that Justin Wong Snake Eyes match, just because of what we were able to provide for the viewers at home. So.
Mine, I can tell you right now, it was Combo Breaker 2016, Marvel Top 8, Jabril versus Justin Wong.
I remember that.
Justin Wong had these sickest. He Justin Wonged the shit out of Jabril with Akuma. And I had my favorite call, which was Shun Goku Satsu for the win, Justin Wong, and I fucking lost my mind. And that was my favorite match that I've ever called for sure. It was just. Like, Jabril's my boy. He was my former teammate at the time. Like, I managed him on Circa. So I was excited for there. And then Justin's a good friend as well. So it was just like, I'm just going to enjoy this. I'm going to go along for the ride. And Justin put on a show. So that's definitely my favorite set.
I think these answers are kind of getting at the point that on commentary, what becomes memorable is, like with a player, you remember your performance of it.
Yeah.
And I can recall like how I felt about my commentary in situations. I think more easily than I can like what was I responding to necessarily. Like, well, what did the players do that I watched? When I in fact, in some ways, I can think of matches that I wasn't commentating more easily, more readily than the ones that I was commentating, because while I'm commentating, most of my brain power is like doing a certain thing, whereas when I'm watching, my brain is more in a way, it sounds weird maybe, but in a way paying attention and sort of recording it in a different maybe closer way.
When you listen to commentators and they're like, wait, didn't these guys play earlier? Wait, what happened? Wait, what's the score? Wait, what's happening? Dude, it's I've always compared commentary to driving. You drive and you're like driving and you're paying attention. You're clearly following all the rules and doing everything. And then when you get home, you're like, did I just drive an hour and a half? Like, I don't remember any of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really.
You remember that one turn or the other turn? And you have to admit that you did not. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, sorry to blow up your question. I think that was a very heartfelt question that we kind of destroyed, but I appreciate it.
Well, at least I had a favorite set.
You did,
David.
But KnowKami, plug yourself. Where can people watch watch you and all of your amazing, luck and RNG of getting to, popularity. So,
the RN dungeon.
You guys can all find me on every platform at KnowKami. Man, it's a name. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I've thought about changing it. It's not a good icebreaker. Like, hey man, what's your name? KnowKami. I'm like, the other guy's like, oh, I don't want to keep talking to this guy. But that's another funny story of how that name came to be. But
I ask everybody that question before they leave, so you have to answer that question too.
You have to give us a story because that's
if you want. You don't have to, but
No, I got you. It's not even that bad. But everything is at KnowKami on YouTube at KnowKami, Twitch at KnowKami, TikTok at KnowKami. You can find it everywhere. Twitter. I generally stream afternoons now. I used to stream in the mornings. Now it's generally afternoons from 3 p.m. on. So if you guys are on Twitch during that time, you can check me out there.
You're East Coast, right?
East Coast, yes.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, how'd you get that name, bud?
Okay, so my teammates, they used to have little names for me. They would have nicknames. Sometimes nice, sometimes not so nice. So coming into high school, I had always been Perry the Platypus because of Phineas and Ferb. So my team, they would just call me, and I'm bigger than everybody. They're like, nah, you're still a spy. So like this was something that continued on happening. So in high school, I get really into Dragon Ball. And I'm wearing Dragon Ball shirts. I don't care, man. Like I got Dragon Ball socks. And I'm going out to flip the coin with my Dragon Ball socks, and the other team is like not taking me serious. I'm dead serious with the ball. So a couple of my teammates looked into the show and they started calling me Kami, like off of Dragon Ball, because I was like, because at first it was the Piccolo joke, and then I was like, no. Can't y'all come on, you're not calling me King Piccolo. I'm not gonna do it. They were like, okay, it's the Cell Saga going on. One of them started that up, and it just became a thing that people just called me for a long time. So that's where it came from.
But where'd
That's
the
not
no?
so bad.
Where's the no part come from?
I couldn't think of nothing. I was like, what's it gonna be? And Tommy's really generic too. So I was like, I was gonna do all types of things. Like I was gonna do KnowKami. I wanted it to be something like that, just because it was what my friends called me. Looking back on it in hindsight, it's been kind of a skill booster, I should say. And let me tell you why. I can't go 0-2 in a tournament with a name like that. That's a bad look. So I've always been like, all right, man, you chose this kind of bad name. You better not lose. You better try and live up to it. So it was a fun little test with myself, too.
That's funny.
That's awesome. All right, dude. Thanks a lot for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much
Thanks,
for having
Tommy.
me, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Have a good night, dude.
You too.
Oh, man, that's cool.
All right, that was very cool.
What a cool guy. Oh,
Good
man.
guess. Thanks, Tupperware. As per usual. Yeah, very cool to talk with him. He's a super positive guy. Really fun to watch on stream. If you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. Okay, let's move on then to the 5-5 matchup, our segment where we talk about an FGC discussion point, a big debate that you guys choose. Now, in the past, this has been chosen by people who are subscribers on Twitch and patrons on Patreon. Well, that's not really possible anymore because Twitch no longer allows us access to subscribers' email addresses. So how are we even going to do that? Instead, what we're going to do is have you pick live on the show.
So do you want me to do it for all 8 questions here?
Yeah, we didn't end up deciding like a short list earlier. So
Right,
in the
right.
future, what we're gonna do is make a little short list of our own. We're gonna maybe pick 5 or something like that. 3 to 5 that we're then gonna let you all choose from. So we're gonna play gatekeeper, and then it's up to you. But for this one, we're just gonna have 1 through 8. We'll just do it live. So let me read it out while James sets that up. Number 1 is, in the light of recent events such as asking for special registration and getting bothered by polite jokes, criticism about 10v10 loss, do you think some top players are becoming too self-entitled? I feel like we talked about that a lot. Number 2, have you guys seen what Jay Wong is doing with It Me JP? Do you think this type of high-level training streaming is going to become more popular? Number 3, as I've played Strive and played Axel, I noticed my spacing and neutral's gotten better. My question is, would it be wise to tell newcomers to try out zoners to learn such concepts as spacing and other basic tools? 4, should the FGC ban handshakes in tournaments? They're very insistent. Number 5, from a competitor's standpoint, is the constant addition of new characters more of a worry than fun inclusion? It's more frame data to study, harder matchup potential, cheaper things to deal with, etc. 6, based on the past FGC developer roundtable talks, it seems that everyone really wants to do right by the players. So, can we anticipate the next iterations of titles or updates to current titles to have a netcode as good as Strive's? 7, with online and local leagues really taking main stage during pandemic, you got to see a lot of new talent and organizations put in work. Do you anticipate or hope any of these to eventually hit the recognition to become a major? And 8, with Strive having such good netcode, do you think that that will help continue to drive a meaningful presence for online tournaments and majors? Or do you think the FGC will want to revert back to predominantly offline events? All right. You going to do the old...
It
poll
should be
system?
up. It should be up already. So you guys should be able to type exclamation mark 1 through 8, and that should start working for you guys.
All right.
So just type in exclamation mark 1 through 8, and that should be adding questions. Yep, there we go. I see the polls filling up right now. I said, do you guys want me to put the poll live on stream or just leave it at this point? It's okay.
I would say leave it because people are going to get influenced by what they see.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. Okay.
Well, you can see it in the chat anyways, so
Yeah, you
Can
can
you?
get a kind of an idea.
Oh, you can get a good idea.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Well, there's like a little move
But
bot up.
maybe put the options back up so people can see it again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're good call.
Also, David is stuffing his face.
I was really trying to stuff my face while the thing was on screen, yes.
You were going hard.
Oh, wow,
I got
they
up and got water.
The MooBot actually does just show the current results right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It tells you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And remember, if you are a subscriber, you get to vote twice. So don't forget that. If you are a subscriber, you get to vote twice. It will count 2 of your votes. Yeah, don't worry, Puma. I just put the options back up here for you guys.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
All right, let's cut it off.
Already?
All right.
You want to cut it off? I see some
Let's cut it
questions. They are chugging forward here right now. We are getting some changes.
All right. Give him a countdown from 10, Tubbo.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. So the
All right,
winner
don't even bother anymore. That's
the
it.
winners are number 2 and 5.
2 and
Damn,
5.
number 4 still didn't get in?
2 and 5. Yep.
Number 4 is struggling. That's been, if you don't know, proposed 3 weeks in a row. So if you
I gave number 4 my votes.
you voted, I can't believe
Of
you
course.
influenced the election. Wow.
Why would I not?
I think I should have in retrospect, but I didn't think about it. It's actually genius to do that. Good luck to number 4 in the future, but it's not going to be that for now. So you said number 2 and number 5?
Yep, that is correct.
All right. Do you have a preference on which one of those we tackle first?
Let's just go in order and let's do number 2.
All right. Here it is. Number 2. Have you guys seen what Justin Wong is doing with JP? Do you think this type of high-level training streaming is going to become more popular? Have you guys seen?
I have seen it.
I haven't watched it,
please.
but I know what's going on with
I've
it.
seen
so.
it. I saw about 10 minutes of today. I tuned into Justin's stream, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna go do something else. But it wasn't because it was like boring. I had other stuff to do. But no, he's been training JP on his stream, and they both have their little face cams, and JP is asking questions, and Justin is answering, and apparently it's been working. Like, he's been making big strides as a player, and of course Justin's been teaching JP May, so Justin's knowledgeable in his main character, and I can't think of a better person to teach you how to play a character in a video game than Justin Wong.
For sure. Justin's super knowledgeable, like maybe the best May in the world. And
He's up there.
I mean,
He's up
certainly he's one of them. And can you describe who JP is?
Nope, don't know anything about the guy.
Okie doke.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
he's been
one
around.
of my favorite things that I saw was JP actually tweeted out. He was like, I landed my first Roman cancel combo like on stream, and he said it felt so good. Like, he had practiced it, and then he got this big old combo. He got the wall break afterwards, and he said that, Justin was the one who taught him all these things, and he landed it, and he said it would just made him feel elated. And, that's the kind of thing that I love seeing from people who are playing fighting games, when people tell me these kind of things, when people are like, oh, you know what, you told me this tactic and I landed it, and this is the greatest thing. Like, I feel so cool doing these things. Like, that to me is why I play fighting games, because it feels cool to do a lot of these things, and so to see other players get that kind of euphoria, it's going to start with the execution. And then I always tell everybody, at some point in time, you're going to play against somebody else, and for some reason, you're just going to know what they're going to do like 5 decisions in a row. And somehow you can't even tell why. But you're like, he's going to DP, and he DPs. And you're like, he's not going to DP this time. You do this. And now I'm going to low short and then throw him because he thinks I'm good. And for some other reason, you're just like right. And the first time that happens to you and you play your opponent like a puppet, you're like, it is not about guessing at all, is it? Like, it makes you realize what fighting games are about. Seeing ICYMIL kind of hit that first euphoric light bulb moment, I think, is absolutely wonderful. So I think it's awesome what he's doing, and I would love to see more of that. Absolutely. I would love to see a lot of that.
Just to describe, JP's been around for a long time. I feel like I've known of him for a decade, maybe longer than that. It's been a while. More from esports. I believe StarCraft, if I recall correctly. I think I've seen him doing other stuff too. But he's a big streamer nowadays. Well, has been, and has been somebody who's been interested in fighting games for a long time. I think I've talked with him about it in the past. So anyway, that's who he is. I think it's super cool. I think it's super cool. I really like the idea of it, and it's not just about teaching JP. I think what's really nice is that seeing lessons in that way, taught by somebody who's super good and knowledgeable, to somebody who is capable of like doing the things, right? That's got to be helpful for people who are watching, right? That's got to be effectively lessons for a lot of other people as well, in ways that just sort of being told, here's how you can level up, maybe not the same thing, so I think that's a really cool idea, super cool, and I would love to see more of it. Absolutely. Do I think this type of high level training streaming is going to become more popular? I think that'd be a really cool idea. I'd love to see more of that for sure.
I mean, I'm not Justin Wong level, but
Really cool, dude. Yeah, and JP has been taking it seriously. James was talking about that, right? That is very cool. Again, like if this was somebody who's really good teaching somebody who was like, yeah, I guess, and like not really paying attention, not really taking it seriously, that would be a lot less interesting. But the fact that it is a case of somebody who's actually learning, really trying to do it, is very cool. Very cool. Yeah. You remember, Shankar remembers when Gutex was doing this in Street Fighter 4 era and got shit for it. Well, that's true. I mean, maybe not in the sort of same way, but it was a different time, and we talked about this in the past, but many of us thought that it was really weird to take money for FGC related stuff. A lot of us thought it was really weird. Whether you were making content or you were writing stuff on Shoryuken or making facts or whatever, a lot of us just were like, why? Who would pay? Like, that's absurd. And yeah, it was really Gutex and Mike who started making that change. So credit to them, honestly. Like, that was important for me as well. All right. You want to move on to the next one, or anything else to say about this?
No, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Question number 5. From a competitor standpoint, is the constant addition of new characters more of a worry than a fun inclusion? It's more frame data to study, harder matchup potential, cheaper things to deal with, etc. What do you guys think?
That's been something I've been saying for a long time, I feel. At some point it becomes homework. Yeah, I agree with that. And in many cases it's fun. And if it's just adding one character at a time and you've been actively playing the game the whole time, it doesn't feel like that much work. But if you take a little bit of time off and like 2 or 3 new characters are out and you go back and it's maybe there's been a patch and stuff too, you got a lot of work to do, buddy. And that can dissuade people. Yeah. I think nowadays, like, it's not as, patches are less common than some previous games had done in the past. So maybe a patch once a year that adds 3 or 4 characters in the whole year. Not that big of a deal, but yeah, at some point, especially if you're trying to play multiple games, I do think that it becomes homework, and it's like how in school a teacher may think that they're not assigning you that much work, but like they just expect you to do the work for their class because they think that their class is the one that you care about.
Right.
You don't realize that you have many other classes that you would also like to do well in.
Yeah.
So it's not that serious, but yeah, it is work at some point.
So, I like new characters because it breathes life into games and, gives
Overall, it's good. Let me be very clear.
Yeah. No, I'm getting there too. Like, I like that. I like the fact that a new character comes in, especially when it's like your favorite character that wasn't there in the first place, etc., etc. But here's the thing. We've been saying, I know you and I, David, have been saying this about Street Fighter V. Like, once you get to about 40-some characters, that is where you start getting, like, in Ultra Street Fighter 4, I thought 44 characters was already kind of too much for Ultra Street Fighter 4. And Street Fighter 5, where a game is, requires a lot more, just like memorizing what's plus, what's minus, and what this situation. Now I've got to memorize the color of Rose's scarf, which I still don't even personally know right now, kind of a thing. So, like, it does get kind of tough. It gets kind of tough. I do think 30-some characters might be kind of the sweet spot for a game, like mid-30s or like up to 40. Once you get to 40-some, it's not as bad, because here's the one thing. As you keep adding more and more and more and more and more characters, a lot of the hardcore players, they're going to be learning as it goes. And you're going to have less people jumping into the game brand new as it goes on. But honestly, like, I know people get mad about it, but I like games starting with 15 characters. I like games starting with 12 characters. Like, it makes it a little bit more manageable, and we'll get the characters later, and in fact, those characters may end up being far more interesting because even the developers know more about the game that they didn't know before. Honda Lucia and and who was the other character released at that time? Poison, yeah, no, Poison, absolutely. Seth, Gil, Rose, Dan, like, they're all super awesome right now, and I feel like that, that kind of is the benefit of releasing the characters in a staggered situation.
Yeah,
except for team
DLC.
games, they probably need more characters. Anyways, go ahead.
I like DLC. I have no problem with it. I think it's more of a more of a job, it's more homework if they balance patch consistently. Because then you're relearning things that you thought you already knew. Yeah. That's work. Yeah. Learning new stuff about fighting games is fun. Relearning old shit ain't so fun. Okay. Which is why you get so many players from older games complaining that, Axel doesn't have 3P anymore.
Right.
You're used to things being one way, and then when they're not that way anymore, you're like, oh shit. Now I have to relearn it. That's great. I already learned this once. Right. So I think that's way more work than getting new characters and
that's true.
Possibly updating the game like Dragon Ball has been twice. Things like that. I think that stuff is fun. Like I don't find that to be much work. Okay. I'm just more concerned with over balance patching. That gets annoying. Yeah. But yeah, I like DLC, and most of all, video games have not moved up in price with inflation. Video games should be $100 base right now. Yeah. So if it's a game that I really like, and even sometimes games I don't like that much, just because they're fighting games, I'm buying your season pass because I want you to keep making fighting games. Mm-hmm. So I'm all about it. Give me more DLC. I'll support you as long as I can play your damn game online. Shout out to SNK.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I definitely think that's fair. I mean, for me, the number that I want to end up at is, it's in the 40s, maybe under that, ideally. At some point, if you're somebody who comes in late to a game, it becomes difficult if there's a billion characters. Yes, I played League of Legends when I feel like there were 50 characters in that game, or champions, whatever. Excuse me. But now there's literally 100 more than that. I think there's 140 or something like that now. It's wild the number. Right. I could not imagine picking that game up and trying to learn all those characters. Just no way. And I feel like if I were to start taking Smash Ultimate seriously, good luck me. I got to learn 80 matchups or something. I don't know. Unlikely. Wow. So at some point there becomes a limit for me, at least. But
not only that, but in Smash Brothers, you'd also have to be able to tell the difference between like 20 Fire Emblem characters.
Imagine being able to tell the difference between all these swords. It's absurd. People in the chat are also asking about folks who are less competitive, which is fair, right? People who are more casual are not going to have these same concerns. I think this question is specifically from a competitor standpoint, is literally part of the question. So we're trying to answer that from the competitor's standpoint.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right. Enough about this one?
All right. Sure. Let's move on. So.
All right. Let's talk about Smash Bros. 200th character. I don't know what the number is now. It's pretty high, though. So Kazuya had a showcase, and it was awesome. We mentioned last time that he was announced for Smash Ultimate, and this time...
Should ask Kami if he was excited since he played Kazuya.
Yeah, I know, right? And unfortunately, David, I think you might be the only one who saw the showcase.
Yeah, I certainly didn't watch
see
it.
it.
I didn't manage.
Okay.
I forgot. I forgot it was even on at that point. So
I just don't. I don't play Smash, man.
and people are saying
doesn't
Kazuya
excite
is
me.
available right now, so he
Yeah,
can.
Oh,
he's out,
sick.
I believe.
That's
Yeah,
Nice. So
I didn't watch it.
sell
All right,
sell
spoiler.
us on it, David. What made it? Because your description is literally what was it? The exhibition was awesome. So what? Tell us about it, dude. Tell us about that.
I think just they did a really good job at putting in the idea of a Tekken character into the game. Sakurai talked about how he at first thought that it wasn't practical for there to be, Tekken characters in this game. And
No, Nathan,
he went detailed.
you're
He
gonna
talked
get-
about frame data.
You're gonna
You know,
get
he
our
was talking about
challenge.
how buttons
Nathan's
in
gonna
that
get our
game
channel.
are so much faster.
Sorry, go ahead. I was about to say Nathan's gonna get our channel taken down because he's showing his butt on stream. Anyways, go ahead, David. Go ahead.
Moving on. He was talking all about frame data and how the jabs are faster in Smash than they are in Tekken. Like, he got detailed. And so I thought that was cool. And what he ended up talking about as well was, obviously in Tekken there are tons of different moves, and in Smash Bros there's 2 attack buttons. Like, how is this even possible? How can we even make this happen? Well, I think that they did a really good job at making the feeling of the character show up. So the frame data is different, and it is more Smash-like, but he talked about, showed off all the moves. And a lot of them are directional moves. Some of them are Dragon Punch moves, and he described them that way. But many of them are directional, and he's specifically talked about some being for different uses. These are the ones that are for combo setups. These are the ones that you use in neutral. These are the ones that you use as combo filler. Like, he was very detailed about that, and described different combos that you could do, showed different combos that you could do. It's very combo focused as an exhibition in a way that I think most of the other exhibitions have not. Most of the other exhibitions have been more about, like, here's what the character can do. Like, all right, Good luck putting it together. Figure out some combos for yourself or whatever. But yeah, this one was definitely more focused on the sort of what makes him a character. Like, what does Kazuya do? And what do his buttons look like? And they look like the buttons. Like, they put them into the game more or less. So I really, really like how he turned out. I think he looks super cool. And his combos seem like they could be interesting.
That's cool.
At the end, did Sakurai actually say, "Now that was some good ass Tekken"? I've
Yes.
seen that meme floating around. He actually did say it. That's dope.
He said it in English with a perfect.
Oh, that's
American
so
Are
cool.
you
accent.
serious?
No, I didn't.
Oh
That's
my
so
god.
cool.
No, of
That's
course I'm.
Oh, come on! Why you gotta mess with me like that? That
Of
would have been
course
so
not.
dope.
Oh, he did it? Oh, dude, come on, David.
I believed you. Yeah, I believe
Why?
it would happen.
Do
Well,
you?
not the English part. with the
Sakurai
perfect
is
American
knowledgeable.
accent, but
He's knowledgeable enough, man. Come on.
He's
Yeah,
very
for sure.
knowledgeable, and one thing that has come across in each of the games that he's done, including all the fighting games, is how much he respects and cares for the franchises and the characters. And especially, I think, with the fighting game characters, you can tell that how much he did for Terry and how much he talked about SNK and how much he loves SNK. And it's the same kind of thing for this. So I think that's very cool. Really turned out nicely.
Oh, okay. According to Dr. Omnipotent, what he actually said was, "Don't ask me for shit," is what he said on the stream. Right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
you get one more character. Don't ask me for shit.
He actually would have been great. Yeah, he did say as well, that is a good point, that this is the second to last character that they're going to be doing. So there's one more. It will come out before the end of the year, he said, but expect to wait a while before you hear about, what the character is. Anyway, Kazuya's out, and I saw that I already saw a couple combo videos come out for the character.
Oh, dang. Okay. I gotta have to check out all this stuff because I just want to
Exhibitions on
see.
Twitter.
I just want to see
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
He is cool. They put a bunch of music in the game. You know how they do it. They
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do good work.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like I said, once the last character comes out, if they actually released like a 10, 12, 15 CD set of like all the music that's in the game for like $200, $300, I would probably get baited into grabbing something like that because I think it would be...
Do plastic compact discs still only have like 10 songs on them?
You can fit like 10, between 10 and 20, depending on the length.
What?
And the
Really?
compression. Yeah.
How is that
But
technology not moving forward?
also, CDs don't get pressed anymore. Albums get released online, and that's about it nowadays.
Teams definitely still buys plastic discs. I'm curious how it can be that they're only still fitting like 10 to 20 songs on there. It's impossible. Come on. This technology hasn't moved forward at all in 30
No.
years.
Why would it?
Amazing. I don't know. All right.
MP3 players came out, man.
Okay, let's move on to the next one then.
All right, thanks for watching the show, guys. All right. Thanks for all of your light ribbing there, dude, guys. Okay,
Absolutely.
Vanessa
Happy to do it.
in KOF 15. Oops, I wrote
Correct. They showed the trailer. She also, as is mentioned here, is a member of Team Secret Agent. What do you guys think about Vanessa?
I mean,
She's a secret agent.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, the biggest concern about Vanessa, she seems like another one of the mostly cut and paste characters. The last few characters that they've kind of shown I mean, for sure, like if you look at the 3 people on Team Secret Agent in 14 to 15, like their faces, like seriously, they look like they are dead inside, like in 14. And like in 15, like they're like the faces are very beautiful, right? They did a great job with that. But mostly the animation's the same. Like move properties have changed little bits here and there, but they haven't changed much. Even their fashion, their design has been mostly just kind of ported directly over and stuff. So she's not as she doesn't seem to have the same kind of like changes or glow ups that some of the other characters have had. And we're all kind of hoping for new characters, because right now, outside of CYS and outside of Chizuru, there haven't been any characters that haven't been in 14 announced out of like the 20 some odd characters at this point in time. So we're waiting.
Have they shown any UI yet?
No, they have not. They're still
talked about any game mechanics yet?
The game mechanics are all being revealed little by little in the trailers.
But they haven't talked about them.
Nope,
they've shown them.
They haven't said anything.
And we're how many trailers in?
Yeah, but the thing about it is, remember, they also said that they've delayed the game because of
I'm just,
COVID and stuff.
I'm just
honestly, the most interesting thing about this whole announcement was that not that she's on Team Secret Agent, because she was always on the agent team. Mary has always been on the agent team, but that Luong is on the agent team. Because literally, I asked Olaf, KOF expert, what Luong's storyline was from 14, and he was like, she has sex with Gang Il. That's like it. Like, nobody knew anything about her, and now at this point in time, if she actually is being a secret agent and kind of like playing people and stuff like that, then that's kind of new for people. So lore-wise, people are interested to see how Luong, fits with the agent team. But again, that's not even who was showcased in the trailer. So, yeah, we're all just waiting for more expectations to be shattered at this point in time. And like I said, really unfortunate tagline, because that's just what you're going to get all the time now, is people going, when are our expectations going to be shattered? Or are you telling us to shatter our expectations so we have none, right? Like,
I mean, if they just shattered something, then that wouldn't be a problem anymore.
Right.
They should work on that shattering.
Exactly. And that's what we're all kind of waiting for at this point in time. So, are you eating eggs?
I thought she looked terrible. Seriously.
I waited all that time just to say I thought she looked terrible.
I just thought she looked terrible. Some of the other characters I haven't thought looked terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the best that I could say about it. But as far as her, boy.
Woof.
I mean, to be fair, the gangliness has always been part of her design. She's always looked kind of like that, even in the sprite days. She's always been like a really long, lanky character, but her current design is definitely has much less to be desired, so.
All right, well, let's move on to another topic. What am I eating? I'm eating salmon. Ooh, salmon with you guys are talking about hard-boiled eggs. No, with mashed potatoes, and there were also green beans. So quit being weirdos.
Who made the salmon?
The person I'm married to.
Cool. Okay,
I have a wife and she cares about me and cooks me dinner.
Home cooked salmon. That's awesome.
Hey,
Good stuff.
We cook each other dinner, buddy.
Well, that didn't make my statement untrue.
You're right. All right. Let's talk about Mortal Kombat X Lives, which happened recently. In fact, it was yesterday. Now, we talked a little bit about the first part of this, which was a couple weeks ago at this point, and the whole thing was supposed to take place on a day, but before the top 8, there was DDoS attacking so substantially that they actually could not finish the event. The players were getting DDoS so that they couldn't play against each other, they couldn't stream. The whole point of the event is to stream and play against each other.
Yeah, they were even getting.
They had to postpone it.
Like they were even getting doxxed on stream, weren't they? Like a lot of the players. Yeah,
they got doxxed.
Yeah,
well, some got doxxed.
A couple of them.
Yeah. So that was really bad. Unfortunate for sure. Terrible that somebody would actually do that. So they postponed it, and yesterday is when they finished out the top 8. It was really fun to watch. I watched a good chunk of it. For me, as somebody who formerly played a lot of MKX, it was interesting because I hadn't played the game since Injustice 2 came out, like literally at all. As soon as Injustice 2 came out, I stopped playing MKX, and then when MK11 came out, same thing with Injustice 2 for me. So it's been a long time since I played or even watched MKX. For me, it was a lot of fun for that reason, to just sort of revisit some of the stuff that I used to see and remember. But also, I saw a bunch of stuff that just wasn't happening at that time. People just weren't doing some of the stuff yet. At least maybe some of the things we knew about, but weren't actually happening in matches.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
It was definitely cool. Yeah. Because in the meantime, there are people who never stopped playing MKX.
Right.
Like, it's still been their main game the entire time. They never played Injustice 2. They didn't play MK11. Or maybe they did, but they didn't stop playing
as
MKX.
much. Right, yeah.
So yeah, there was definitely some high-level play there towards the end. So winner was Ninja Killer with Liu Kang, Dragon's Fire Liu Kang. And second place was X88 with Flame Fist Liu Kang, Crystalline Tremor, and Hishkuten Predator. Third was Deoxys with Assassin Katana and Kenjutsu Kenshi. Rewind, Tweety, and Unbearable Skill, Samij, and Cam is Black after that. It was a lot of fun. Ninja Kill is absurd, and the things that he actually does in matches are incredible. So some of the things that I'm talking about that we just didn't see anybody do in matches back in the day were things that he was just like doing all the time and had no problem with at all. Like doing 6 or 7 instant air or 6 or 7 Liu Kang fireballs in a single combo. Like 5 of those are instant air, which you have to do, like, as if you don't know, like really fast, up, down, forward, like super fast. And he just was doing them. No big deal. Really, really fun and really super high level, optimal stuff to watch. So I appreciated that. And yeah, it was cool to watch commentary.
And
it was Max, and it was catch up, and it was a chef. People who really took the game seriously still know it well. So it was fun.
Okay.
Good job to everybody.
Well,
sorry, bummer about the DDoS, but I'm glad that it finished up.
Yeah, that's cool that it finished.
All right, what do we got up next here?
We got ourselves
Guilty Gear Strive, baby.
The Overdrive tournament that was run by Matcherino, powered by G Fuel and the American Red Cross. Matcherino has been trying to run a lot of their own events recently. Arturo's been doing a lot of the legwork on a lot of those as well. And, they partner up with a lot of different streamers, like myself. I got to stream the event as well. So a bunch of people got to stream it. 32-man bracket, a lot of very strong players in there. Marvel player Not Enough Damage was playing in that tournament as well. Did you see any of it, Tumaware? Because I want to ask you this question here. Who would you think Not Enough Damage plays in Guilty Gear Strive?
Potemkin.
Oh, you would think he plays Potemkin?
I think Eddie plays whatever character he thinks will get him the most wins.
Oh, okay. Well,
he likes to do big chunks of damage.
Oh, he does. Okay.
So it makes sense that he likes to play pod. He wants to just hit you twice and you're dead.
Yeah, well, that's definitely what he did. So But you know, it was really cool to watch. Like I said, a lot of very strong players. Justin was playing in it as well, and the winner was Lost Soul with Anji. Anji, a character many people have said is potentially bottom 3 in the game. And second place was Not Enough Damage with Potemkin, a character who a lot of people said might be bottom 3. So, game is in a good state right now. Now, don't get me wrong, third place was Red with Soul, and and Red definitely punched everybody to death with that far slash. Fourth place was Justin Wong with May. So yeah, but it was a really fun event. It was fun for me to do commentary for it and stuff because it's just one of those games that I enjoy so much. A3 Religion and Jan tied for 5th place. That's another Potemkin and a Nagoriyuki as well.
Yep.
And so yeah, it was a good variety of characters there, and like I said, really good play. Like watching A3 Religion's Nagoriyuki really opened my eyes on how Nagoriyuki is played a little bit more, because he's a character I played in the first beta, when his life build wasn't as ridiculous as it is now, but I can see how he's still strong despite building up so much blood meter now.
You just gotta be a mathematician.
Yeah.
If you can add numbers real fast, you can play Nagoriyuki.
Yeah. It's basically a special move is 1 bar, a teleport is half a bar, is kind of the best way you can think about it, and then just hope that it drains and try to land some command throws. But again, like A3 Religion was really fun to watch for me, but also, you know, just watching Lost Soul win, and because Lost Soul is just an amazing player, absolutely one of my favorite players. So there you go.
Yeah, Lost Soul was sick.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
The worst character, says Justin? No.
There's been people thinking that she's real bad.
I've seen that too.
And again,
that.
that's what a lot of people say about Anji, and I think a lot of that comes from playing Ino in the past, because she feels like a shell of her former self. Her offense is not as potent as it used to be, but at the same time, I
lose so bad.
Right, and the thing about
I get opened up by her over and over.
Exactly, but the thing about it is defense is also weaker in this game than it has been in the past, right? So you don't even have like the blitz options, for example, and so I feel like, if you're a former Ino player and your jumping dust does not launch people for longer combos, now you got to combo into the dive thing into back, like you feel like you're a little bit hamstrung. But I think if you play her from a fresh perspective, you'll probably be like, my god, this character can do all sorts of crazy things.
Right.
Same thing with Anji. Lost Soul winning with Anji, right? I mean, there you go. A lot of people saying that this character is bottom 2, and Lost Soul taking the tournament with just Anji and just doing some really nasty things.
We also know that Lost Soul Anji is a limited time thing. We're gonna get Lost Soul Elfeld back real soon.
Predicting the DLC. Oh wait.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Okay.
For sure, Elfeld's gonna be DLC.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to re-highlight this because we talked about it briefly, but I saw that they were talking about it yet again. They're trying to promote as much as possible, so I figured that I would just say, in case you missed it,
of course,
East Coast Throwdown is throwing free to enter weekly tournaments: Street Fighter V, Mortal Kombat 11, Tekken 7, and Guilty Gear Strive. And I think it's a different one each week. There's some rotation that they have going on here, and there's a $500 pot for each of those, even though it's free to enter. So they're putting some serious cash behind this. Please check it out. They had the Guilty Gear event most recently. That was this week, a couple days ago. Yeah. And here's the results: was that Shine won it. Guilty Gear Potemkin player Shine. Mm-hmm. And second place was
not Shine NYC, the
OG Shine.
OG Shine. Got it. Okay.
And then So Sick Nash Fan third. So check it out. They got a lot of stuff. They got a lot of players playing in that. Please check that out if you're somebody who plays any of those 4 games. Good work. All right, let's go to the mailbag. We got some weird ones for you. Let's do it.
All right, let me just tweak some of these questions.
Nash fan is like my favorite May right now.
Really?
Yeah, like the way he plays is just so aggressive, but not. It's you just have to watch him.
Okay.
I gotta check it out. I'm curious.
He's
to see...
less airborne than almost every other May. Way less airborne than almost every other May. Me and Justin are jumping around the screen like idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's my
But
Potemkin
Nash
too.
fan is like grounded.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
He plays Sindel in MK, and I'm curious to see like what similarities there may between maybe between those two. That could be interesting.
All right, so let's do the mailbox over here, right? So, let's do this here. We've got the mailbox here, where Ultra Chen TV crew answers your questions. And the number one question that we have here today is from Investigation Cone via Twitter. Asks, have you ever heard of bread in a can? Have you tried it? What do you think it's like? And Investigation Cone also provided this image here. It is literally bread in a can.
What?
It is literally
At
bread.
B&M brand. B&M brand? I'm definitely having a BM after I eat some canned bread.
Dude,
that is
100%.
perfect branding.
Imagine having your brand BM. Oh no. Why is it canned? What about it requires canning? And what's the purpose of canning it? Like, are you going to be eating your bread much later?
I guess.
Is there going to be a disaster? And you're like, well, what if there's a disaster and I don't have bread?
Right. See, that's what it is. It's apocalypse food, basically. Yeah. Like,
but there's other food that's apocalypse food.
Right.
That's canned food that like is more understandable.
Yeah, but you can't make an apocalypse sandwich without apocalypse bread, homie. When you put those beans on, you gotta put those beans on the bread. Get some toast, you know?
I'm thinking about those beans.
Exactly.
I mean, look at this thing, dude.
Bread.
Is this real? There's a lot of fake food out there. Is this real?
It's 99%.
I feel like this is something that Humbag came up with.
Right?
99% fat free.
Is that what it says?
It says 99% fat free bread in a can.
Was that the concern? Oh, this bread in the can has less fat than the bread in the can from another company. Was that what I was worried about?
So, Investigation Code in the chat actually says, I ran across a 60s cookbook that called for 1 can of brown bread. It was beans on bread. Turns out it was a really common Saturday night meal in New England.
What'd I tell you?
You got it. You nailed it somehow.
I watch a lot of cooking stuff, man. A lot. More than I'd like to admit.
And you've never had canned bread?
No, why would I have that in my life?
I don't know. Well, did somebody make canned bread into some dish that looked tasty?
No, I just know that it's very common that you would put beans on toast. Like, that's like part of the full English breakfast. Like, it's very
That's
very
true.
common.
That's true. I've heard that in English. In England. All right, we move on to the next one. Wait, what was the actual question here? Have I tried it? No. What do you think it's like? Gross bread.
Yeah, it's probably very spongy. Very spongy.
It's canned bread is how it tastes.
Does there anybody in the chat has actually tried this? Has anybody in the chat ever actually tried this? That's the question. Is there any person who has actually eaten? All right, you know what? Forget it. Let's move on to the next question here.
Yo, Shankar, you know what type of New Englander we're talking about. All right. All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right, so the next question comes from Poogly Woogly via Twitter. James has talked a lot about classing the fighting games as being about the mind, the body, or the heart, but riddle me this! What would be the representative examples of the mind, the body, and the heart for condiments?
What's the smart condiment? What's the condiment that can't do anything except for execution monkey stuff? And what's the condiment that just like wills its way through?
You just decide.
Garlic is heart. Garlic is absolutely heart.
Garlic is a condiment to you?
Yeah, I guess. I was about to say, wait, garlic is an ingredient, right?
I mean, but you put it on garlic bread, like directly on there, and you eat it right off, right? If it's
Maybe
good garlic bread, at least.
maybe garlic butter is a condiment. Even then, that's a real stretch to me.
I think the
I
body.
feel like we're talking
How does
about.
garlic goes in everything, man? Like garlic is in everything.
I think
Well, I like garlic a lot too, and I eat it a lot. But I feel like we're talking about mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise, relish.
the body is definitely like sriracha. It's hot sauce. Like I feel like the body is those because when you eat those, you have to fight. You know, you have to be like, you know, and it's like especially if you're a spice wimp like me, then it's like all execution basically. It's just you are just it affects you like that. So that's what I say.
Well, then if we're going with those with butter, if butter's a condiment, then it's hard.
I guess.
Or mayo, I guess. Mayo's a condiment.
Mayo's a condiment for sure.
Well, I'll go with that being hard. You gotta have like a fat or something that goes with everything that's the heart.
See,
right?
butter can't be heart because butter is probably bad for the heart, right?
Hey, man.
I don't know, man. This is a
Some
weird
hearts
question. I don't have a good answer.
Some hearts have more butter than they have muscle. Okay.
Yeah, that is for sure.
I'm gonna say maybe
you know-
I like mayo ketchup a lot. Let's get that's mine. Nailed it.
Mayo chup.
Yeah, mayo ketchup.
Mayo ketchup is pretty
Alright.
good. That's kind of Thousand Islandish. Do you guys see? It's not a condiment because I was about to say the heart then could be MSG because it brings out the umami. It just
Yeah,
pulls
that's-
out the
that's a-
flavor. But that's more of an ingredient.
If MSG is, yeah, I say if garlic's not a
Yeah,
condiment,
no.
then neither is MSG.
Yeah, no
Don't
one
you think
puts
that
MSG.
mayo ketchup is actually the one that makes people go, ooh, mommy?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, just slide off the damn screen. End the show there. Golly.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
Anyway,
Here
what's
you
up,
go.
everybody? How's it going over there? Yeah.
All right.
Ruining the sanctity of the mailbag.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. God, work so hard on these graphics and everything like that just to get that happen to me over here. Yeah. All right, so next question comes from one Shay Farsi on Twitter who asks, name the most overrated and underrated food. This is a very food-heavy mailbag that we have here. The most overrated and underrated food in your opinion. And I'm just going to add the you can't name a burger chain because that's what everybody's going to try to go for.
Well, this is a food, not restaurant. So it has to be,
fair.
you know, steak, sushi.
Canned bread
whatever.
is the most underrated. Okay, yeah. There you go.
In that it has 0 ratings. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. The most overrated. Here's my opinion. The most overrated food to me is the hamburger and the cheeseburger and all of its derivations. I think they're fine. That's it. They're not great to me. And underrated, I'm gonna say it's lox. Lox is like one of the best foods in the world.
To be fair, one time you did give me half of your cream cheese and lox bagel, and it was pretty incredible. It was
Yes,
good. It was
it
good.
sure
What's
is.
lox based off of again? What's the base of lox? It's
just smoked salmon.
right. It's
Yeah.
salmon. Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
in a specific way of smoking
Right.
salmon, but yeah. And I don't think that many people know about how good lox is. I think that's one of those. Look, some Jewish food has just become like general food, bagels. You just eat like it's just regular food. Some though is still. It's not hidden because like people know about lox, but it is. It's under the radar. It's under the radar. I like lox. Please try it. Burgers,
All right.
overrated.
I
Not
would
great.
name my most overrated food, but I think I would make a lot of people mad. So I just
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
The most
Make them mad, James.
the most overrated food for me. It took me a while to think of this, but as soon as I thought of it, I was like, no, this is the one. This is the one. Pho. Pho is the most overrated food ever. Like honestly, because all Chinese noodles and Japanese noodles are like way better.
Wow.
Way better. Way better. It's like not
I
even
think
a
ramen is
comparison.
better than pho, but I don't think pho is overrated.
Yeah.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, I think.
Well, James, I'll make just as many people in the FGC mad as you.
Okay.
Because I think K barbecue is hella overrated.
Okay, yeah.
Hella
100%.
overrated.
100%.
It's all about the experience, not about the actual food. The actual food is good, but it's not what people make it out to be. It is not like
and
the
dude,
end all to food.
You smell like charred cow flesh for the next 6 hours. You have to change your clothes
you definitely
after you leave a KBBQ place. Imagine working there. It would infuse your pores. It'd be horrible. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I like it, but it's not something that I ever seek out. Also, fried chicken, overrated.
What?
I like how you just threw that in there. By the way, one of the most beloved dishes in American history sucks.
It doesn't suck. I didn't say that much.
Look, I love Korean barbecue. Okay, I'm just telling you that right now. I freaking love Korean barbecue. I will eat that like for every meal if I could. Well, not every meal, but I will eat that a lot. I freaking, to me. Well, that's also because when I get Korean barbecue, I don't get the same thing that a lot of other people get. They always want to get the brisket and stuff. I just get the freaking beef bulgogi and the spicy pork and like.
You're that guy ruining the grill.
Yeah.
You're the guy ruining the grill.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
I love marinated meats. And so when they get that, the spicy pork, which is all the sauce and the bulgogi. But the thing is, you go to a good Korean barbecue restaurant, they change the grill for you constantly anyway.
That's
dude.
also
So
true, too.
It doesn't even matter, dude. So short rib is also amazing as well. That is correct.
Look, I've never been to a Jewish restaurant that gave me gastroparesis and had me doubled over in pain for an entire week.
That's because you had Marn cook the food for you, I think, right? So, I mean...
It was me, Marn, and Gutex, and maybe somebody else at that KBBQ table, and we did not cook it correctly, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's rough, dude.
Oh, boy, that was gnarly. All right, what is
the most
underrated?
Underrated.
We didn't hear them. What do you got?
Most underrated food.
What do you got? Burgers, overrated. Fried chicken, overrated.
I don't even know if we'll have a season 11 anymore, dude. Like I
Overrated.
My most underrated food. I'm gonna cop out and say a drink.
Okay.
My favorite drink on the earth is cran grape juice. Cran grape juice fucking slaps, and people don't know about it. They see cran, they're like, no, I'll get the regular grape juice. Trust me, cran grape juice, it goes hard. That shit is delicious.
Dude, you know what I'm gonna say though? I feel the same way about orange and pineapple juice, dude. Have you ever had orange and pineapple juice together?
Yeah, orange pineapple juice is pretty good.
That is freaking amazing as well. That is some of the best, dude.
I like it. It's good.
Underrated foods.
Cran, whatever.
I don't know. Like, can you say something like just spaghetti marinara is underrated? Because I feel like it's such a basic food, but everybody loves spaghetti marinara.
Everybody
right?
eats it.
Yeah, so you can't say
I
that.
had Peruvian spaghetti the other night. Everybody eats it.
Okay.
By the way, Peruvian spaghetti was very good.
Interesting. Underrated. What is something that not enough people eat enough of that they should be eating more? Okay. Which one is?
Jewish food.
Okay.
Which one's that one again?
It's basically a wonton.
Okay.
But not pork.
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to say underrated food because so many people like so many foods.
Right.
Well, what do you think? All right, fine.
I don't know, man.
We'll
like actual Chicago style pizza, not just deep dish.
That's a great one.
That's actually a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
People don't know about the truth, like the real actual Chicago style pizza that Chicagoans eat, like weekly or bi-weekly or whatever, depending on their diet. Chicagoans don't just sit around a big ass, deep dish all the time. It's not what happens, guys. I know that's the idea of what people think happens. It's not what happens.
It's too serious to eat regularly, for sure.
Yeah. But like a normal ass pizza from Chicago, like actual Chicago style, is incredible.
Yeah, I agree. Very good.
Dude, I don't know if I can come up with something that's underrated, unless it would be like
shawarmas are underrated, buddy.
Like something.
Shawarma is pretty underrated in America.
Everybody eats shawarmas. No,
not in America.
This is known. No, is it not?
Not in America. Well, maybe in California, not the rest of the country.
No, I guess that's true. It's not so
like
common.
New York and California, maybe, but the rest of nobody's eating shawarma in the middle.
Waffle's really good. All right.
Falafel's
Just
popular.
Yeah, we're just naming foods now.
Yeah,
All right,
can we end this? Let's end
Let's
this.
move on to the next one.
Okay,
Let's move
yeah,
on.
I
We'll just have to
We
leave
talk
this
about
one
random foods all night.
in agreement that fried chicken and burgers are overrated.
Only you said that. Only you said that. I
That
will
was
not
the
take
consensus.
credit
The
for that.
opinion
recall.
of Ultra David is not reflective of the entire Ultra Chen TV
Yeah.
channel. Please like and subscribe because there are some of us who love fried chicken here. So
Yes.
okay. Next question is from Fat Cat via Twitter. What weird Street Fighter? This has nothing to do with food. Wait, Street Fighter? You can't eat that. What weird Street Fighter collab do you think would be cool or funny for Capcom to do next? I'm guessing this is kind of a reference to the smelling, Ryu fighting the smelly shirt from last week.
Yeah. But there's another one that I heard about today. I don't remember what it is, but it's some new bizarre collab. Somebody in the chat, I'm sure, will remind us of what it is. But it's,
Okay, that's fair,
something
Mike Lee Stone.
strange.
They definitely did Street Fighter Curry collab because I have a box of that. I have a box of Street Fighter Pocky, so yeah, okay, never
Yep.
mind.
And they also have a Street Fighter cookbook out now as well.
That's right, they do. Yes,
wow.
yes,
So
that's
you
right.
can literally eat Street Fighter.
Yeah, you can. I mean, we always wanted to like create a restaurant where you could eat you'd be served Blanca rolls for the appetizer, drink the Dragon Punch, which is the obvious one, and that I think that we should just do that.
Yeah,
All right, you get the funding. We can run the restaurant. David, you can manage. I'll take care of front of house if you take care of back of house.
The Ultra Chen TV restaurant, let's do it.
I can
Yeah,
probably
let's
do
do
that.
it.
Let's talk to LA Akira about how fun it is to run food services
Yeah.
right now. So
What should Street Fighter collab with, or Capcom in general? You know what? I like when, even though I can't afford them, I like when dope shoes come out that have like fighting game references.
yeah.
And I know they've done it before, but if I got like some, well,
see-
I guess I haven't done this before, but if I could get some like Ken themed Air Force Ones, that would be sick.
Right, but remember the question says what weird Street Fighter collab.
I don't
think
have a
shoes
good
is too
answer for that. I'm
normal.
too tired. It's past 10 p.m. I don't have a good. My brain's shutting down.
Okay.
Street
okay.
Fighter versus Guilty Gear.
Just as a game,
Is that a-
basically.
Yeah, let's say in what
Collab.
sense?
That's a collab.
Is that a weird
To
collab?
make-
In video games. It's an MMO.
Oh God, yeah, that's a weird one. That's
It's
what you
an
want to see.
MMO.
Street Fighter cross Guilty
The
Gear, the
classes-
MMO.
The archetypes are grappler, zoner, setup character,
Brawler,
brawler,
Rushdown.
and Cammy.
and
Cammy?
Cammy.
Oh, and Cammy?
Yeah,
Cammy,
the
their own archetype.
Okay.
The boring
okay.
one. Yeah, exactly. The boring one. Yeah.
Uh,
That would be a great collab, right? The lore would be incredible.
I think it would be
Yeah,
cool to
incredible.
get.
That's the word.
Let's get Street Fighter makeup. That's what we should do. Let's get Street Fighter makeup. You too can have Ryu and Ken's eyebrows that go over his headband.
But James,
Alright.
can I have E Honda's fantastic face streaks?
Actually, you would be considered desecrating the sport of sumo wrestling if you do that. So you'd probably not be a good idea, to be honest with you.
But what if David took up sumo?
Yeah, what if I was a sumo wrestler?
I mean, it takes a while to get there because I know a lot of people. When Honda first
don't
came
know.
out, they didn't like his face paint in Japan because they thought he was desecrating the.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
actually a true story.
Okay.
So,
I had no
yeah.
idea.
Weird. All right.
Okay. Next question. I forgot to copy the next question. Let's do this.
I want the stream to know that I just ripped a major ass. That's my
Thanks.
mailbag answer. I just
Thanks,
ripped a
my
big
man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you bringing up that one. I'm glad you're last in line here on the right. At least it's just going to be behind us.
one. If I didn't have my filter on, you guys would have heard it.
All right. You know what? I'm done with the show. I refuse to take part in this at all. So.
I don't have the sound commands on. Oh no.
All right. Dubu Domo via Discord asks, who would you rather face in an SFV
yeah.
first to 3, hidden in case you want to wait until the show to read it? What?
Yeah, that's right. And I faithfully did keep it hidden. Here's what we got. We're seeing it for the first time. Momochi's Ken, but has infinite EX meter stocked, or Punk's Karen, but he has 2 fewer frames of input delay.
Wait, where is this?
This is in the Discord.
Oh, you got it in the Discord.
Did he put it in spoiler tags?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay, can you copy and paste it into the Discord as well, so I can copy it and paste it?
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
From Dubudomo,
All
as mentioned.
right.
Faithfully did wait until the last moment to watch. So there you go.
All right.
Would you rather fight? Yeah, go on.
Momochi's Ken, but has infinite EX meter stocked, or Punk's Karin, but he has 2 fewer frames of input delay. So he can. Ooh.
Yeah, so it's basically Super Punk or Momochi who can do more damage. I absolutely play against Momochi here because I feel like Punk with even less input delay is just unmanageable. Like, I just feel like that's lights out. I can't move. I can't make any wrong guess. Like, at the high, even now as it is, it's already like that, and that's players at the highest level. Me versus Punk, who has even better reactions, impossible. Maybe I deal a little bit of damage against Momochi, and if he hits me, I explode or whatever, but I'll probably hit him a couple of times. I don't feel like I would hit Punk. I feel like he would just tech or whatever hit me every time.
I'm playing Momochi, so when people look at the match, they go, "Oh, well, Momochi had infinite meter. Of course he won."
Okay, all right.
Nobody can visually see that Punk has 2 less frames.
Okay.
They're just gonna see Punk beating the shit out of me. But if they see Momochi has infinite super meter, he can always critical art me. Duh, I'm playing Momochi. I'm like, look, he cheated. I'm moving on. He cheated.
I mean,
what a dirty cheater.
That is an absolutely valid answer right there.
Very good answer, yeah. Meanwhile, Punk's over here confirming individual jabs, and I'd just
Right.
be like, wow, you played real well that day.
Because I was thinking with Momochi, Ken would be terrified because he could do EX combos into supers and all sorts of crazy things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Everybody would know that he's a dirty cheater. So, you know what? I can't even answer the question anymore. I think that's the best answer. I think that's clearly the best answer. So that's the end. You just killed
it.
I'm on the mailbag.
Nailed it.
All right.
All right, we got one more.
Back to the mail. Why can't I find the mailbag anymore? What did I do with the mailbag?
You lost it.
I lost the mailbag.
From
There we go.
Scoop DeVille.
Scoop DeVille via Discord. Now, again, I realize how long some of these questions get, so I've definitely did my work in making sure to give myself plenty of space. Scoop DeVille asks via Discord, I work in the restaurant industry. Good, we're back to food. And would love to hear what new restaurants you guys have tried lately, if any. And also, how much lotion did you all go through during 2020? I was washing and moisturizing so much that, oh, good, okay. It's a different kind of question that I was afraid of. So much that bottles were flying off my shelves.
I feel like you can't ask a man that, but all right. What new restaurants have we tried lately, if any? We tried some new restaurants, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what have you tried, David?
Well, all right, fine. We tried a fancy, like, Mexican-ish place. You know, it's like high level fancy food, and I got a nice mezcal as well. It was really nice.
Oh, that's right, because you moved to a completely new location, right? With completely new restaurants to explore for, right?
Basically moved down the street. No, but we have there's too many restaurants in LA to have ever tried. And also, during the pandemic, a bunch of restaurants went out of business, and some people started up new restaurants. So congratulations to them for being able to do that during that time. Yeah, we tried that out. We had a new ramen place that's really good that opened up recently. That was nice. Yeah. And there's a new fried chicken place, but I'm not going to go there because fried chicken's overrated.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
Yikes.
Olaf introduced me to Nikuman, which is like a kind of like a food courty kind of place that serves pork paos. That was really good. Olaf and Kitty are really into yakiniku, which is the skewers, the Japanese skewer cooking, and we ate at one that was like a little further south that was really good. And actually, one of the restaurants on Sawtell next to like Tatsu Ramen and all those places, Mampuku, which is the grilling place, we hadn't ever eaten. I haven't ever eaten there before. The three of us actually went there one time because it was like one of the only places that was still open. And that place was super good, dude. That place was super good. So, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, not yakitori, yakiniku. Correct. Thank you, Mike Lee Story. Yes, thank you. Yakiniku is the yakitori. Wait, yakitori is the skewers? No, which one is which way? Okay. Anyways.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. I would need to be corrected by them. But that Mampuka place was actually super cool. And we ran into a couple of other FGC guys there too because we were talking about SNK and two people were walking by and they looked over and they're like, wait, SNK? And so, yeah, it was really cool, you know, hanging out. It was people that we had seen before at Wednesday Night Fights that we know from Wednesday Night Fights and stuff like that. So it was actually kind of funny. So... Okay.
What do you got?
Unfortunately, in the Twin Cities area, over 100 restaurants closed during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So I haven't really tried much new. There's been places that I've discovered exist that I didn't know about before that, you know, I don't have a car. So I take public transit. So if I go somewhere, I'm going there with a purpose. I don't just like drive around to discover new things. Like that's not something I do. I need to like have word of mouth and reason to go there. So obviously during the pandemic, I didn't go anywhere. I mean, I stayed home. So yeah, not much new has opened up here. It's been sad, but things are getting better now. I mean, like, you know, we had several businesses literally get burned down during the George Floyd protest.
Oh, so. Right. Okay.
And that's literally 4 blocks from me, man. Like I could walk to that area.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it's been different in the Twin Cities area, but you know, hopefully things change. Then they have been. People have been opening new things, and food trucks are happening and stuff like that. So that's nature is healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll try new stuff when it comes out.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess that's it.
Hang on. We didn't answer the lotion question. Excuse me.
I went through... Dude, first of all, how long has it been? I feel like it's been 3 years. Or maybe it's been 6 months. I can't tell. And so I really can't tell you how many things of lotion I went through. I don't know. 8.
8 in a year?
I don't know. 2. I have no idea.
I mean, I can't... I can't really judge how much lotion I went through because I always had so many girls over during the pandemic who brought lotion and lotioned me up, of course.
Also weird. Not really a save at all, actually.
Yeah, it's not much of a save. I'm just a very touchable human, okay? They just want to lotion me up for some reason so they can take my skin. I don't know.
Not a save
and I have
either.
A girlfriend right now who probably doesn't want to hear that either. So.
Yep. You should probably just quit it.
No, yeah, I'm just going to stop while I'm not ahead.
Do people use lotion that much? Like...
Yeah.
I mean, I like put lotion on each day. Yeah. How else do you think I look this age? I'm actually 48.
I'm actually 48.
I don't use lotion.
Well, you might want to get on that because you look pretty good and pretty young, but it's not gonna last forever.
I don't. I mean, I used to use it on my hands sometimes because my hands would get really dry, but that's not happening right now. So I don't know. Like my hand, I always have very oily skin. I've always had very oily skin. I don't get dry. Like I'm just not a dry human being. It's just.
Look, I also get oily skin, and I had massive breakouts until like pretty deep into my 30s, to be honest. But lotions, in fact, can help with that as well. Lotions are not just about greasing up. They also can help out even if you do already have oily skin.
Okay.
Fact.
I mean, I still get a pimple every now and then, even at my old age. So.
Me too. I probably always will.
Yeah.
All right. We'll just have to close the show. agreeing that burgers and
Are
fried
fantastic.
chicken,
So good.
not that great.
So incredibly
In
delicious.
fact, in general, like,
I mean,
know,
I'll
all
tell
three
you-
of us could kind of do without meat. It's just overrated.
I
in
can
general.
definitely
Meat's
tell you
overrated.
that burgers, I mean, I eat them because more for functional reasons than anything else. Like, there's very few times that I'm like, I need a burger now. That's usually just like, I need some beef.
Functional?
Yeah, I mean, like, I need some beef right now, and steak is too expensive, and I need something fast, and so here's a burger. That's probably it. But fried chicken is goddamn delicious, dude. Like, you cannot... Fried chicken is, like, one of the greatest things ever, so...
Whatever. I could do without meat. Meat's not important. Also,
You know what?
we all know somebody who
offended.
doesn't eat pho because this is true.
What's that?
Because one time they said I know a guy, I believe you guys all know a guy who doesn't like to eat pho because he considers it poor people food.
Are you serious?
Oh.
I'm
Is that Wolf
100
Crone? That was Wolf Crone, right?
No, it's not.
I thought that was Wolf Crone.
No,
for
that
some
was-
reason.
No.
I could have swore that was a Wolf Crone.
I mean,
quote.
look,
I don't know who that
here's
is.
the thing
but-
is, sushi...
I'm not gonna out them, but that is somebody.
Sushi, pho, tacos, a lot of these things are poor people food. They were designed to be street
all of
food.
Jewish food is poor people food, buddy. Yeah, 100%.
Right, exactly. So all of that stuff is like you can't like poor people food is like some of the best food out there.
I
dude.
know.
Like,
And when he
Yeah.
told us this, I think James was there, and we said the same thing as you're saying now. What do you mean you don't eat poor people food? That's all good food.
Yeah, that's all the
right.
best food.
That's like the
Yeah.
best food humanly possible, dude. Oh
Yeah.
man. All right.
Well, speaking of food, I need to
Let's-
eat before I go to bed. Let's end this
Yeah.
damn stream.
I gotta go get some food finally. I've been waiting for the stream to end.
You literally were eating 3 minutes ago.
Whew, I'm starving. Let's get out of here.
You guys can't hear the bird, right? I just again, you guys still can't
Nope.
hear it. Okay.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.